Serving fans throughout the Midwest and even more around the world, this is the Show Me Sports Network. The following is an exclusive broadcast property presentation of the Show Me Sports Network and is a high-fidelity, all-digital broadcast. This broadcast is copyright by the Show Me Sports Network for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast without the Show Me Sports Network's written consent is prohibited.
Indians pregame show on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network. We'll recap last game's highlights, set the stage for kickoff, and even get the thoughts of the head coach during the pregame show. All while we get set to bring you the exciting play-by-play action of your Hallsville Indians. The best pregame show coverage in mid-Missouri is on the air as Blake Gazaway and his crew are ready in the broadcast booth. Exclusive pregame coverage of Hallsville Indians football is brought to you by Avon with Michelle Carty, Centurion Cares, Eddie Gaedel Society, Embrace the Curve, Hahn Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Boosters, Kathy Rush Remax Realty, Last Sentinel Firearms, River Oak Christian Academy, Sawdust Studios, Law Offices of Russ Swanigan, Southwest Dental Care, and State Tech of Missouri. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Hallsville Indians football on the Indians Radio Network. Now, here's the voice of the Show Me Sports Network and the Hallsville Indians Radio Network, Blake Gazaway.
And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. Blake Gazaway joined by Patterson Fallis as we come to you for the second week in a row, live from the top of the press box here in Hallsville. The difference between a week ago and this week, it was cold, but this week it is much, much colder.
Yes, I would say bitter is a good word to describe it. We've got about, I would guess 40 to 45 mile-an-hour winds here. We had some snow flurries earlier when we were setting up. So it's, it's football weather. That's what they say.
It is windy enough that it blew my chair earlier most of the way across the top of the press box. I was not sitting in it, but I had to go track that down. So the wind is going to, I think, be a big game changer tonight, as it's going to be whichever team is going to be undefeated after tonight. Both these teams enter the season, the contest tonight, finishing with an undefeated season and then continue that on here in district play as we have it the throwdown here in H-Town. But I think tonight we might coin it the Windy Bowl as both these teams 10-0. That's your Hallsville Indians taking on, and that's the number 1 seeded Hallsville Indians taking on the number 2 seeded in the Bowling Green Bobcats. Both these two teams, good football teams, both vying for a championship. But I ultimately think it's going to come down to who can figure out how to break this win the best.
Yeah, and I think Bowling Green is really set up for this kind of game. They keep the ball on the ground. They like to pound it, down the defense's throat. And Hallsville likes to press that ball down the field with Tiger Cobb and A.J. Austin. So it'll be interesting to see. I know we saw in warm-ups here, when you're throwing left to right across the field, it's really easy to drive the ball. When you're coming back right to left across this whipping wind, it is a lot more difficult to get that ball up in the air and complete for passes.
It absolutely is, and it either hits a wall or it just floats away from you when they happen to be working that direction. But that's why we play football. We had some snow flurries, but they have stopped for the time being. Had a momentary, I guess I would say fire-related, I wouldn't say concern, but they had a little bonfire before the game, and they had, I think, 1 or 2 too many pallets on that bonfire. So it was definitely warm over there, and they obviously got it under control. But just showing the pride, the community pride here, the team pride, as I think most of Hallsville has come out tonight. Of course, most of them came out last week. But for those that have not ventured out tonight, well, we're going to take one for the team. And I've got layers on layers. I've got double long underwear on. I'm pretty sure that I struggled climbing the stairs because I can't hardly lift my legs. My boots started off this morning as a 10.5 double E. Pretty sure by the end of tonight they're going to be 11.5 because of the amount of socks I have. But we are glad you're here to listen to our broadcast tonight here on the Show Me Sports Network. Do see head coach headed this way for the Indians, so we'll take a quick break and be back as you're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Haven't seen an Avon brochure in quite some time and running out of some of your favorite makeup, fragrances, or skincare products? No need to worry. Avon representative Michelle Carty has got you covered. Michelle can consult with you on the newest line of products, as well as get those that have become your must-haves. You now have the opportunity to shop online 24/7 from the comfort of your own home and have your order shipped directly to your front door. To see how Michelle can help you out, find her on Facebook by searching Avon Carty. Live beautifully with Avon.
Welcome back to the Hallsville Indians pregame show here on the Show Me Sports Network. We're joined by Hallsville Indians football head coach and Justin Conyers. Coach Conyers, thanks for joining us before tonight's game.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Well, last week your top-seeded Indians hosted the number 5 seeded Centralia Panthers in the Class II District 6 quarterfinals. You edged the Panthers by a final of 38-36. What were your thoughts on the game last week?
Well, I thought we got it off to a great start, first of all, offensively. It couldn't have gone, better to script on what we wanted to do. We want to make sure that we drive down on our first possession and score. And then, as you know, we go for 2. And so we wanted to make sure we got those 2 points in. Everything went as planned. And then kind of the game plan kind of went out the window a little bit defensively because we weren't able to stop them all night long, really, until the fourth quarter. So they did a great job, had a great game plan against us, really did a great job of attacking our defense and putting us in a bind. I thought Bo Gordon played one heck of a ball game the other night, and running back number 33, he had a heck of a night too. So really took advantage of what our defense gave them, and that was something I thought in the first matchup back in week 2, they didn't do a good job of. And I'll tell you what, man, my hat goes off to the Centralia Panthers and their coaching staff and their players because they played lights out all night long, and we were just able to have the ball in the last possession and be able to make the last play that counted.
Well, the game started off, as you said, very much a back and forth. Both teams really answering each other's possessions. And then the defenses kind of took over and stopped a lot of the progress of offense. But, we had lead changes. We had ties. We had, everything really that you would script up as a fan for a great, exciting football game.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth there, and I thought really the turning point was the second quarter offensively for us. We had 2 big penalties. One was a block in the back that pulls back a first down, and all of a sudden you're behind the chains, with a 10-yard penalty from the spot. Then we had another holding call also over there on the far sideline. I thought those were 2 huge penalties against us that really stopped our drives and made us have to punt, and that puts us in a bad position. We're not used to having to do that, so once again, great job by them being able to make those stops whenever it mattered. But, us being in the situation of putting ourselves out there to have those penalties, we had to make sure we cleaned it up this week.
We saw something, too, that maybe you guys haven't seen a whole lot of this season, but really saw quite a bit of adversity kind of early on in the game. What did that change for you guys, and what did you tell the squad?
Really the biggest thing was at halftime. I said this, post-game last week is we haven't ever trailed at half. Even in those tight ball games, in the Blair Oaks game and the Boonville game, we were up at half, whether it's a touchdown or 2. And so going in down, that was different for us, and so I knew my approach to the halftime. I always make sure I address the team first before we split up into offense and defense and make our adjustments. And I knew that I was really going to have to change my approach to it, and I was going to have to make sure that I really was calm, cool, and collected so that I didn't create more tension within the guys, because you could feel how tense we were going into this. Honestly, they're high school kids, and you could sit here and you could talk to them all week long about how hard your opponent's going to play this second time around and how much they've improved, and they think it's coach talk. They think, hey, we beat them 46-12 the last time. We're going to do the same thing to them. Well, I don't think they were ready for Centralia to come out and punch us in the mouth, and it happened. So there was the adversity like you just spoke about. And so we got some things together, and we talked about sticking together, making sure that we get some things cleaned up and fixed. We make our adjustments, and we go out and coming out in the second half, and it couldn't be better for us. Bo fumbles the first snap, and then we drive down, we get within, inside the 10-yard line, and then we get another penalty, and so it's just not typically us. And then obviously we get the turnover with the pick, and now the game's back to a 2-possession game by Centralia. So like you said, lots of adversity. Cannot be more proud of how we continue to fight all night long in that face of adversity and finding a way to come out on top.
Well, we talk about playing the 4 quarters of the game, too, and playing both halves. But you guys came out in the second half and did make the adjustments that were needed. You outscored the Panthers 22-14. Obviously, that was a big piece of getting that victory.
Yeah, it definitely was. 2 of those scores obviously come late in the fourth quarter there. I believe it's right around about the 5:45 mark, somewhere around there. It's under 6 minutes, and we're down 2 possessions. And I'm honestly, at that point in time, I'm not going to lie to you, I started getting a little nervous. I knew we had to get a stop, and it was something we hadn't been doing all night. So we finally get an opportunity to get a stop. Tiger makes that big, long run, and you kind of feel the momentum start to shift our way. And then, I think the key part of the game, honestly, was the quick pitch out to A.J. Austin that he took for 55. Got us down to the 8-yard line. with about a minute 30 left, and we're able to go ahead and punch one in right there and tie it up at 36. We call that timeout because everybody knows we're not kicking. We're going for two, and we got the right play call dialed up, and our kids believed in what we were doing. They asked for the play call, and we executed it. And so then now the pressure's back on our defense. 101 left. We've got to kick off. We've got to cover it, and then we've got to stop them. And they got 2 first downs, and we were right in the right spot at the right time for Landon Sievers to make that interception and steal the deal for us.
Senior quarterback Tiger Cobb, he continued to add to his accolades for the season. He looked very impressive, particularly with his vision across the field and able to make some really key reads that freed himself up, or to be able to pitch it off to make that read and be able to dial it up.
That's one thing he's been doing well all season long is, we RPO, and then obviously our read game is big, so not a ton of RPOs have been going in the past few weeks just because we've kind of dialed up a few things in the read game that we feel like puts the defense in a bind more so than us trying to throw the ball off the option look instead of making it a triple option, with our backs and with Tiger. So he's done a great job, like I said, all season long with that. His vision is great, and I feel like we're going to have to make sure here in this game tonight that we're going to have to be able to take advantage of some of the quick game opportunities and, kind of get those guys out of the box. I mean, that's what teams want to do to us. They want to stack the box, they want to load it up, and they want to try to stop the run. So I feel like tonight's game plan is going to have to go a little different, and we're going to have to make sure that we're able to complete some quick game as well on top of that vision of running football.
Well, he also showed why he's a leader on the team as a general commanding his troops. There was a moment there in the second half. Tensions were very high. Emotions were high. There was a personal foul penalty for some extracurricular activity. That player came off, and Tiger was the first one there to talk to him and get him calmed down. That's one of those things that you don't teach that. They're just born with that, and your general just has that ability.
Correct. And that's what makes him so special is just the leadership piece. I mean, he's one of the few guys on the team that can flat get after his teammates and expect more and demand more, and they're not questioning it. They're not bucketing. They're coming right back and they're saying, hey, this is what we have to do because this is what our leader's telling us to do. And, when you see that, that's what leadership is all about. And it means way more when it's peer-to-peer than from when it's coach to player, And so that peer-to-peer leadership has been something that has grown all season long and something that our team has really rallied behind Tiger with.
You definitely see that too. You mentioned it with that 2-point conversion that you guys went to after tying the ball game up at 36 apiece. You got that thought coming into that with the timeout that maybe that was going to be the call. It's the you ride the horse that gets you there, but there was just no question. I mean, he willed himself, and if I remember right, almost untouched into the end zone.
Yeah, we call the timeout because we want to make sure we get the right play call there. We just came off the left side, to score on a QB ISO, and they wanted it again. So we formationed it a little different just so we didn't, give it a dead away on where we were going. But everybody in that stadium knew who was carrying the football, and it was going to be Tiger Cobb. And he looked me straight in my face and he said, I will get the 3 yards. And I trusted, and what made it even better is when 2 of my left side of my offensive line look at me in the face and they say, run it left, we will score. And they did that on the previous play that we put one in on. So, that's the thing that you love to see right now at this point in the season is just the confidence growing and the kids understanding the game, understanding their abilities and understanding their will and want to win, and them going out and executing. I mean, it's tremendous right now, and Tiger being the leader behind it is special.
Well, I was super impressed, too, with the offensive line unit. You just mentioned them coming to you and saying, run behind us, we're going to score. They don't always get a lot of love, but I got to say, they showed up to do work in the trenches, and they did it.
Yeah, they did. That goes for everybody across the board. And, when it gets going, and our leader really up there is Jaden Walters, our left guard. He's done a great job. And he's a kid who's been a lot more vocal this year. And, he's expressed some things throughout the course of the season. He's an offensive lineman. I mean, he's bought in. He's one guy that's, giving his all down in the trenches. And when it comes to clutch time and we need to make a play, he wants to run football, and he wants you to run behind him. And I love that. I mean, that's just the down and dirty, the nitty gritty that you don't get a lot of sometimes in high school football of kids wanting to run the football. Everybody wants to do the fancy throw it around and want to, go make big plays, but these guys, they want to run it, and we got the guys to do that. So we got to make sure that we rely on that this evening as well.
Well, senior wide receiver A.J. Austin had some big blocks in the game. Had I wouldn't say quiet night, but definitely made his presence known with some of those blocks and some of those key runs. But big thing, he came up clutch. He kind of hit on it late in the game, kept the drive alive, which ultimately led to the final go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, he's been our playmaker all year. When it comes to clutch time, we got to get him the ball. In that last drive right there, we ran the ball 3 times. We're starting to get the clock ticking down under 2 minutes here. So you got to think about some sort of pass game because we've got over 50 to go. I think we were on like the minus 40 there. So we saw the off coverage. They said Trey was running. So we wanted to go ahead and just throw a quick hitch. I mean, it's a 3-step hitch on the outside and get AJ the ball. And everybody knows he hasn't really been known for a lot of yak yards after the catch. Normally he's surrounded by multiple defenders. So when he goes up to make the catch, normally guys are all around him. Well, he made the catch. He squared the kid up. He shook him, stiff arm, made a spin move that I haven't seen all season, and 55 down the sideline, all the way down to the 8-yard line. I mean, it was a tremendous play. That was the play of the game right there that really lifted us to go in and get that score.
Well, junior running back Harrison Fowler and senior Trenton Hobbs continued to be a great 1-2 punch running the ball last week.
Yeah, they did. I'm going to tell you what I was really impressed with is, you got the power from Trenton Hobbs and the elusiveness, I thought, on that first touchdown run from Harrison Fowler when he came through, ran a little counter play. He came through, and, he squared up the defender, made a jump cut, got vertical, made one more cut, and then runs over to the defender on the goal line to score to show his power as well. You got to remember, this is a young man that last year in the last game of the season, the quarterfinals, versus Palmyra, had a tib-fib fracture. He had surgery. He was out for 8 months, trying to get this thing rehabbed. And I was just saying to the staff this week, I really feel like he is truly 100% right now. And that's where we have to have our guys, is the ability to go with that 1-2 punch with Hobbs and Fowler. I think it makes it really tough to defend us, and it gives, us multiple options in the run game.
Well, something too that I noticed a lot of is the guys, they're believing in what it is, and they're just not going down easy. They're giving the drive, they're keeping the legs going, they're falling forward, they're getting those extra yards, and it doesn't always appear, in the stat charts or anything like that. But getting those extra yards here and there add up to be a whole lot throughout the game.
It'd be very interesting to go back at the end of the season and go through all the film and stat, the yards after contact, because I'm telling you what, both those guys do a great job with that, and you saw Hobbs on the first run of our first drive. We go outside and he bounces it, and he was dragging defenders with him and ends up not even going down. They end up getting him out of bounds, but I think he broke like 4 tackles and he was running through defenders, and he's been doing that all season for us. He really gives us a nice change up in the backfield. He's really a downhill hard guy, but then people don't think because he's big that he's fast, but he also has a little bit of elusiveness to him too. And then you get back and you get Fowler, like I said, and that guy's able to break tackles and use his speed. And, like I said, I think his cuts have really gotten better here in the past couple weeks.
But offensively, your squad continued to show that they're a pretty well-tuned unit. They've got a nose for the football, including having a fumble recovery and an interception. That interception did pretty much, put you guys in the driver's seat late in the game to take the W and look on to a championship.
Defensively, your teams are going to make plays. It's just the way it goes. We'd love to say, hey, we're going to line up and we're going to shut everybody out. But in reality, we know that that's going to be a tough task week in and week out. So you kind of got to live by the bend but don't break mentality. You've got to go into it knowing that there's going to be some explosive plays that happen, but it's how do you react, how do you come back, and how do you counter it? And I think, it took us a little while to settle into this game, and really understand that they were in it to win it. Centralia didn't come just to show up and play a football game. They came here to beat us. And I think finally, late in the third, early in the fourth, we started figuring out how we were going to get it defended. And we did a much better job.
Well, your defense is also only averaging giving up just over 100 yards of passing per game. That's an outstanding number, I think, for any level, but just shows that they're finding ways to really shut it down.
A lot of that stuff, too, is it's based out of single high, playing cover 3. And I think that was something that hurt us a little bit on last Friday night was Centralia was very familiar with us. They knew exactly how we were going to align defensively as far as where our DBs would be. And they did a great job of taking advantage of those outside hitches and curls. That's why I think really, when they were on the plus 47 and it was 4th and 5, I was really surprised that they punted it to us. But I think what changed it was we lined up in a press man coverage and we showed press man. We'd only did it a couple times and we took away those easy hitches. And I think that might have been the thought process behind them punting that football to us there on that 4th and 5 when they were in their own territory.
Well, because of your squad getting the top seed in districts, you guys were awarded the home field advantage. Centralia did travel quite well to the game, but how important was it being in front of your own home crowd?
It's super nice. Is last year we were in the same position. We're the 1 seed, and we gave up our home field advantage because of the county restrictions due to COVID last year. So we went and we played the district semifinal game down in Herman on the road, and then we went to North Callaway when we should have hosted both of those games. So being back home again is awesome. I think tonight, no matter what happens here, if we're lucky enough to move on and fortunate enough that I think this may be our last home game no matter what here. So, it's going to be a real exciting crowd tonight for a district championship. The environment's going to be outstanding, just like it was last year.
Well, this week your team faces the Class 2 District 6 championship game. Both teams coming in with an unblemished 10-0 record. I coined it last week. It's going to be a throwdown in H-Town. I'm ready to see it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this opportunity. I mean, they are a very, very well coached football team. They're super physical. They're big up front. We haven't seen anything like it. You know, I think the closest thing we can go back and kind of compare it to is a little bit of Eldon. You know, different style of concepts in the run game. But as far as big, physical, fast, I mean, that's the type of run game that we're going to get ran at us tonight.
Bowling Green started the district play by beating the Missouri Military Academy. That was a 70-0 final. That was quarterfinals action. Then last week they beat California 65-14 in semifinals play. When you look at the Bobcat team and compare similar opponents, there definitely is a lot of similar score outcomes and a lot of similar feelings to their schedule versus your guys's.
Right. I mean, I think that's the closest thing you can do is, you know, you got to try to look and compare who they played versus who we played and how we match up versus those teams. And so, you know, really last week in the California game, that's the big one for us. You know, I've watched that game film multiple times just because I feel like, you know, we were able to handle California in a similar fashion as, you know, Bowling Green did. So looking at what they were taking advantage of on both sides of the football. And so, you know, you look at that game, and if you take that one game with that one common opponent, you know, you're pretty equal, you know. And I mean, like I said, they're 10-0 for a reason. They're a good football team. Like I said, they're well coached. They have great athletes, and they're a different style of offense that you really just don't see a whole lot of, you know, that much in high school football anymore.
Well, leading up to tonight's game, what's the conversation been in regards to looking at being 1-0, you know, after the games? I mean, we talked about it last week. It doesn't really matter how you get to district play. It matters how you do each night. You don't look at, well, we finished the season here or there. You just say, tonight our goal is to be 1-0. When the game clock reads triple zeros, that's where we want to be.
Right. You know, first of all, we talked about how we have to have a much better effort defensively this week than we did last week. And we have to start way faster. You know, we have had a great week of practice and prep this week. It has been really physical. We've known that it had to be best on best all week long, you know, and that's the hardest thing is when you're prepping for another team is trying to simulate what they do offensively and defensively with your scout team guys. So we made it non-negotiable that none of our guys that rotate in on offense and defense were sitting out. They were going to be on both sides, giving us a scout team look this week. So I think that was a very, very important factor for us trying to really preach how we're going to have to play with physicality tonight if we want a chance to win this football game.
How's the health of everybody tonight?
Everybody's good. You know, that's been the good thing for us, you know, knock on wood here is we're coming in healthy. You know, we banged up a little bit this week in practice, you know, like I said, we had to. I mean, it was one of those nights where, you know, on Tuesday and Wednesday night throughout the course of practice, I mean, it felt like a live football game. I mean, we were flat getting after one another. Some coaches think, hey, that's crazy. Let's don't get guys hurt. Let's don't get guys dinged. But we knew that was going to have to be our approach if we wanted to be physical on Friday night, you know, is we had to preach physicality all week long. And we're hoping our boys come out fired up tonight and a little mad at themselves about the way that they showed up last week. You know, that was last week. And that's something that we've preached all week long, is that's not who we are. That's not how we've done things all season long. And so we took a much better approach to practice this week.
Well, facing the Bobcats tonight, anything else you expect them to do?
You know, big thing is, you know, obviously as an offensive coordinator, I'm a little concerned about how they're going to line up. Will they do anything different? You know, will they give us something? You know, we've obviously seen every defense, you know, throughout the course of the season, but, you know, your kids are honed in on what they're doing based on film. Will they give us a different look to start the game? We don't know. You know, we know they're going to load the box and they're going to try to stop our run game. But the thing I keep going back to and alluding to with our team and our coaches is, hey, guys, they're 10-0 too. They're a good football team. They're going to do what they do, you know, and that's what we expect is. And, you know, the big thing for us is going to be defensively, we have to stop the run. I mean, they're going to try to line up and pound it right at us. And if we can be physical and stop the run game and force them into throwing the football a little bit, I think that gives us a better advantage than if we're just giving up the run all night long.
Well, I think tonight, too, without question, the leaders of front row will have the crowd rallied up for every snap. They're going to be on the edge of their seats if they're even bothering to sit down. I know that the leaders of the front row will not be sitting down, but I think it's going to be a good turnout, and we expect to see hear a vocal crowd.
Yeah, I expect it to. You know, they're all jazzed up for tonight's game. We had a pep rally yesterday at school, you know, so we didn't have school today. So had a pep rally and getting the guys fired up and the whole community and our school fired up. And I think they've got their theme of camo this week. So I know they're excited. I know everybody's going to be ready here to show up and show out. So excited for our crowd tonight, too.
Well, Coach Conyers, thanks for joining us for our pregame show. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
You know, really excited about this opportunity, very proud of our program and where we've come and the season that we've had, you know, where we want to make sure we go out and play with pride and we play with physicality. So big shout out to all of our community, everybody who's been on here listening and supporting us and trying to find a way to follow Indian Nation and our football program. I really appreciate all you guys.
All in, Roll Tribe. Let's go ahead and get it done.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Hallsville Indians football head coach Justin Congress. We're going to take a break and be back for more of your Hallsville Indians pregame show. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Hallsville football here on Home of the Indians, the Show Me Sports Network.
You've been listening to the Hallsville Indians pregame show on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network. The excitement is building in the stands, and the tension is rising in the locker room as kickoff is just around the corner. Exclusive pregame coverage of Hallsville Indians football has been brought to you by Avon with Michelle Cardi, Centurion Care, Eddie Gaydell Society, Embrace the Curve, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Booth, Kathy Rush Remax Realty, Class Sentinel Firearms, River Oak Christian Academy, Sawdust Studio, Law Offices of Russ Swanigan, Southwest Dental Care, and State Tech of Missouri. The best coverage in mid-Missouri continues as we'll be back with kickoff right after these messages. This has been the Hallsville Indians pregame show on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network.
Centurion Cares, for more than 3 decades, their focus has been on exceeding customer expectations for contact center software solutions. Their innovative communication solutions include utility interactive voice response software that allows for smart communication features that let your utility deliver superior customer service 24/7. They also provide other streamlined services like automatic call distribution, automated customer callback, reporting, and quality assurance. To find out more about how Centurion Cares can help your business, call them at 727-421-5300 or look them up online at centurioncares.com. Centurion Cares, innovative communication solutions.
It's time for Hallsville Indians football on the Show Me Sports Network.
Well, it is that time as we're going to have to stop our game intro as ball is teed up. Teams are ready. They decided to start just a hair early as Orschelin has it teed up. Hits one of the up men. They're going to have to fall on it. He will get it at the 32 and advance it up the field. Still on his feet across the 40. As good thing we dropped out of our intro. I hate to do that, but it was evident they are ready to get started here at Hallsville.
They're ready to go home just as quick as we are. I cannot believe I'm seeing football players on the field right now with no sleeves on. Tiger Cobb being one of them, the Hallsville star quarterback, A.J. Austin, the wide receiver and safety for the Indians. Both of them sleeveless tonight, which I physically cannot comprehend.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it either, as I've got layer upon layer, and still I'm cold as the Bowling Green will take over on the 43. They'll work it up the middle, short gain there as they'll pick up right about 4 yards, be closer to midfield, but we'll bring up a second down.
Yeah, it's tough running there for the Bobcats. They run a little bit of a triple option hybrid. Two down backs next to each other behind the quarterback. They've got different ways that they can go with the football, and you saw it right there. They faked it to the first running back, and the quarterback kept it for about 4 or 5 yards.
So he does keep it for 5 yards, bring up a second and very short as he'll go up under center. That is Dalton, as he'll keep it on the option himself. Now he'll try to cut it in the middle. He'll be met by the purple jerseyed wall, and he'll be thrown back. I will say he does pick up about 2 yards right at midfield. It'll bring up a third down.
See, and this is a really fascinating offense. They get out of that huddle. They break the huddle very quickly. They're up on the ball immediately. These Hallsville Indians are going to have to be sharp here early in the game.
So this defense trying to get the first takeaway or the first stop, as it'll bring up a 3rd and 3 for Bowling Green. As up under center, they'll have everybody up there, and we'll have flags. I got to think that's probably going to be in the neck of the woods. But not everybody was set.
And I don't think they had 4 people off the line either. It looked like they only had the quarterback and the 2 running backs. And we'll see what they call here.
Unfortunately, it's going to go on Hallsville. They say encroachment. So that will be a first down.
Interesting. I think you could have seen an illegal formation call there, but they must have got the jump on the Indians first.
So that will be the first down of the ball game. Ball now at the 45-yard line of the Indians. Clock stopped at 10:46 here momentarily. Bowling Green working left to right on your media center as they will give it to the second man through. Ball carrier will have maybe a half yard and then no more carrying that. is the junior back in Marcus Starks.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that discipline from the Hallsville defense. This is all about stopping the ball carrier. It doesn't matter who has the ball. You're going to see a lot of different people getting touches tonight.
So Starks carries it, but doesn't get much for his hard work. They'll break the huddle again here. Have a receiver on the far side, 2 backs in the backfield. As up under center will be Dalton. He'll give it to the first man through. Just a quick dive. He'll have short yardage there as carrying it again was Starks.
Yeah, this is a really old school offense. Not gonna spread the ball out like you see in the modern day NFL, modern day college football Power 5. They're splitting out one wide receiver most of the time, and everything else is right there in the middle of the field.
So we'll bring up a 3rd and 6. Again, I think you hear the wind in our mics. Now you hear the crowd come alive. As this will be a 3rd down here. This defense, again, as I said on the previous 3rd down play, needs to come alive. 2 receivers far side, 2 in the back. They'll hand it off straight up the middle, off to the races. Starks is going to go in. As he got through the line, takes it 41 yards out. And the first points goes in favor of Bowling Green.
That was all about what we just talked about. They've only split out 1 wide receiver. On that play, they did 2 wide receivers on the far side of the field. That took the safety out from the middle of the field. All of a sudden, hand the ball right up the middle, untouched virtually.
Not only did it take the safety out, but it seemed like it took all the linebackers out too, as that goes 41 yards to the house. And that gives the early 6-0 lead in favor of Bowling Green.
You're going to see Bowling Green go for 2. Kicking game probably not going to be much of a factor here tonight with these crazy, crazy wins.
So they will go up under center. They'll roll here to the near side looking for the corner of the end zone. The pass is made and good. 2-point conversion is good.
See, and that's about all the passing that you're going to see tonight. Quick little outs, nothing that's going to, really drive the ball down the field.
So with 9:31 left to go here in this first quarter, the Indians trail 8-0. We'll pause and be back as you're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
The following public service announcement is brought to you by the Eddie Gaedel Society, Jefferson City Chapter 10, doing little things to make a big difference.
Want to make a big difference in your community? Be kind to others, drive safely, and put litter in its proper place.
Join us in celebrating Eddie Gaedel's historic Major League appearance as a member of the St. Louis Browns by doing something nice for someone today.
Take a walk, Eddie.
On 6 plays and take it in. A short kick will be taken by one of the up men at the 36. He'll work near side across the 40. It'll be taken down near the 45. That's where they'll set up shop at.
Yeah, really good starting field position here for the Indians. Don't want to get behind the sticks, don't want to get behind the chains. Obviously love when you're starting at your own 44-yard line, it looks like.
You were right about that. So they will start at their own 44-yard line, does Hallsville, as they trail 8-0 here. 9:26 left to go here in this opening quarter. And they'll spread it out, have a receiver either way going right to left on your media center or your Show Me Sports Network app. They'll give it up the middle. Quickly a big hole across midfield. That's Hobbs. He'll be down near a yard shy of the first down marker before he's tripped up.
Yeah, 2 totally different styles of offense. Bowling Green really compact, really going to pack you in on the defensive line. This Hallsville team likes to spread you out a little bit. You see it right there with the run-pass option there, just right up the middle for 9 yards.
So now they'll split off to the right will be Hobbs. Tiger Cobb will keep it himself. He's got the corner, and he's going to get to the sticks. It should be awful close to a first down. We'll see where they officially spot him. Looked like he didn't get that good of a spot.
So the ball is on the opposing 46. Looks like it should be a first down to me, but
yeah, it just came up just shy, so we'll be a 3rd and very short. As 2 receivers on either side, Tiger Cobb will be in shotgun. He'll call for the snap. He'll give it to Hobbs, keeping it himself up the middle. Faked me out again. He's got about 10 yards, moves the chains.
yeah, Cobb will not only fake us out, he fakes defenses out a lot of the time too. You saw it right there, Hobbs going around that far side of the field. It looked like the corners on the far side there thought he had the ball, and Cobb was able to scoot up the middle there.
So Hobbs will be again in the backfield. Wind picking up rather fiercely here. Receiver on either side as they work right to left. They'll do the end around and pitch it off to Fowler, who's taken down in the backfield. He will lose about 5 yards.
Yeah, that was that pitch play that you see the Kansas City Chiefs often run with their speedsters, and didn't work out the same there for the Indians. The Bobcats were all over it.
Tried to run that jet sweep, but just could not find the open runway to get upfield. Again, one receiver either way. Tiger Cobb looks like maybe he's trying to run an audible there. They will split out. 3 receivers now far side. In his right hip pocket is Hobbs. He'll throw a little screen pass over there to Fowler. He makes one man miss. He's going to be quickly hemmed in as he'll get to the 45 before he's taken down there. We'll bring up a 3rd and long as he loses a couple of yards.
Looked like they could have had something going. They had a little 3-on-2 action there. They had trips out to the far side. But the Bowling Green linebackers did a really good job of diagnosing the play and getting over there quickly for the stop.
So we'll be a 3rd and long. So it'll be a 3rd and 17. Ball spotted at the 45-yard line. Again, everybody will look over to get the play call. As Cobb will step under center now, he'll back up in shotgun. 3 receivers here on the near side plus a wing. And he'll keep it himself straight up the middle. He's going to be quickly hemmed in after a couple yards. And he's going to be well short of the original marker. So we'll bring up a long 4th down here.
Have to think they punt this ball. But in this part of the field, Coach Conyers isn't afraid to go for it. You might see that pooch punt that we saw last week.
So it is going to be a 4th and 15. Again, that's probably not something you have much in your playbook, is a 4th and 15 call. Cobb will be deep back, and he is going to give a little pooch kick. Sidewinding kick will bounce inside the 20, take a right-handed bounce, and go out near the 15-yard line. So it wasn't a 3 and out, but they were unable to get much going, picked up 1 first down, and then kind of stalled out.
We'll see this referee crew moving pretty quickly here. We saw it last week, did much of the same. They like to keep this game moving here in this district title game.
I don't blame them on that one bit. My only complaint is that at least let me get through my pregame stuff before you start the game. So Bowling Green has the 8-0 lead. Clock rolling after they snap the ball. 6:16 left. Again, big run there, and it's going to be off to the races as they will, pardon me, have one man does make the tackle inside the 20 as carrying it was Starks, and they want a horse collar tackle. But they will not get it as he takes it the length of the field. Well, there is a flag down, so check that. They might have a case for the horse collar. Apologize, I picked up a little bit of a cold from last week. That was a touchdown saving grab as that thing went for 60-plus yards.
Yeah, that's just unsound gap discipline right there. Just something simple, running the ball directly up the middle with Starks, who has been their workhorse back all season. And you see the chain gang hustling down the field because that was a big gain.
Ball started on their own 15, did the Bobcats. Now it's at the 9-yard line of the Indians. So it's went basically the length of the field in one play. It'll be 1st and goal at the 9. And working left to right on your media center, 6:05 left to go. They're going to give it to the first man through. He's going to have short yardage before it's piled up. Again, they just really packed the middle there very full with white jerseys.
Yeah, and even when they do that, they're going to get a couple yards because they've got so many offensive linemen and tight ends in there to push the pile forward.
So clock rolling, under 5:40 to go, ball at the 5-yard line. Bowling Green leading 8-0 here in this Class 2 District 6 championship game. They'll give it on the far side with it. Taking it is Keel, and he will be in there for a 6-yard touchdown run.
Definitely not the start that Coach Conyers and the Indians wanted, but like we talked about last week, faced a little bit of adversity last week. Maybe this helps them, come back from this early deficit.
I think right now you would be very accurate to say this crowd is shocked at the moment, as it is a 2-score game as they lead 14-0 to the Bobcats.
See another 2-point try here.
They will, again, try for two, and we have a flag down.
Looked like the quarterback false started. That's what you're going to get called.
So the Bobcats will back up. So it'll still be a 2-point conversion. They lead 14-0. Here are the leaders of the front row saying you can't do that. 5:26 left to go here in this opening quarter. So they will try again for a 2-point conversion. This time it's outside the 6-yard line. Dropping back is Dalton looking, has a receiver broken up. Nice job. A.J. Austin shows he can catch a pass, but he can break up one too.
Yeah, really good defense there. They decided to throw the ball, obviously, moving back to the 8-yard line for that 2-point conversion. Great job there by Austin of defending that.
So that still keeps the score 14-0 in favor of Bowling Green. We'll pause quickly and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage, Indians football, here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Whether it's balls and strikes, fouls or flags, your referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. If you've ever tried your hand at officiating, you know how hard these men and women work, and you certainly know that they would never miss a call intentionally. Keep these things in mind as you attend sporting events. After all, respecting officials and authority figures is one of the most valuable lessons that we could teach our students. This message has been brought to you by your friends at this local radio station and the Missouri State High School Activities Association.
Tough break there for the Indians as they give up a 3-play drive that goes 85 yards. Another short kick, and we're going to have a whistle. And somebody was offsides, a little too anxious to get upfield.
Yeah, and that's Starks that is actually kicking for the Bobcats tonight. Remind you, that is the running back that they have been riding. The big gain there on the last drive and the touchdown on the first drive.
I think it's safe to say he pretty much does everything. He is a standout player for sure. At least for the moment, we don't see our snow flurries right now. It's still windy, very windy. It's not attached to the table. It's going off into the crowd from our perch up here on top of the press box. Blake Gazaway here with you, joined by Patterson Follis. Another short kick is going to hit one of the up men, and he's just going to fall on it, as that'll fall down at the 38-yard line. So that is where the Indians will start with it.
Can't imagine that Coach Conyers wanted this start. He's got his offense on the field now, hopefully going to go drive down the field here and score a touchdown to bring this back to a one-score game.
So ball again at the 38-yard line for the Indians. They trail 14-0, 5:26 left to go here in this first quarter of the championship game for Class 2 District 6. 3 receivers far side, 1 near side. Cobb will get the snap. He'll keep it, and he'll be snowed under. Boy, the defensive end did not bite at all on that play as he faked it to Fowler, and he had nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, that's Devin Rue for the Bobcats. Really good discipline there. Didn't bite on the fake handoff to the running back and was able to swallow Cobb there in the backfield.
So it goes as a 5-yard loss. So we'll bring up a 2nd and 15. Clock under 5 to go. Ball on the 33-yard line. Cobb looking near side. Throws it for Austin. Almost made the one-handed grab. A.J. bobbled it and almost came up with it, but ran out of real estate on the sidelines.
That's what we were talking about in the pregame show. Really tough right now when you're going right to left on this field with the wind swirling and whipping the way it is. That ball just kind of floats up there in the air.
So we'll bring up a 3rd and long here. Again, clock stopped with that incomplete. 4:50 to go here in this opening quarter. Bobcats lead 14-0. Again, kind of the same formation we've seen. Fowler in the backfield. They'll 3 receivers on the far side, 1 here on the near side. They'll send 1 in motion. That's Austin. Now dropping back is Tiger Cobb looking far side. He's going to step up in the pocket. Still has some pressure. Makes 1-man miss. He's going to keep it himself. Makes another miss at the 40. Still on his feet across midfield. He's at the 40. The 35. Another man misses. 30. 20. He's going to be tackled inside the 20-yard line. Might have been tackled by his own man. How many people did he make miss there?
I counted about 17. Did a great job there. That's a design pass play, and Cobb is able to bail out of the pocket when he didn't see anything developing, and that's the kind of freak athlete he is. Taking that ball all the way down the sideline, and like you said, tackled by his own man. Wouldn't have gotten stopped. They had about 6 guys, going to carry him to the end zone, and got his feet tripped up there by his own guy.
So ball at the 15-yard line. I just became the broken record. It was miss after miss after miss. Fowler, Fowler will have no gain on the play.
Yeah, Indians not getting that push up front like they're used to. A little bit of penetration there by the defensive line for the Bobcats. I'm sure Coach Conyers will address that.
So we'll be a 2nd and 10. Fowler will stay in the backfield. Good 1-2 punch with Fowler and Hobbs. They trade off some of these series. 2 receivers on the far side, 1 here on the near side. Now Fowler will go in the left hip pocket of Cobb. They'll fake the handoff. He'll keep it himself. He's around the corner. He'll be tripped up, but a flag comes in.
I think you're looking at a holding call here, but in that general area of the field, that's normally what you're going to get.
You're absolutely right on that. Typically, when the flag comes in that quickly in that neck of the woods, it is almost always a holding call, and that is going to be the call.
And that was one of the things that Coach Conyers stressed in our pregame show, that he really wanted to eliminate those harsh penalties he talked about last week. They stopped themselves a couple of times there in the red zone, and can't imagine that he's happy about this.
So we'll bring up a 2nd and very long now. A 2nd and 20, ball at the 25-yard line. So they'll have twin receivers either way, again working right to left on your media center, your Show Me Sports Network app. Cobb will get the shotgun snap. He'll roll to the near side, has pressure. He's going to unload it towards the end zone. Throws it up, ball's tipped up in the air, falls incomplete, double coverage there for A.J. Austin, and he could not come down with it.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed here earlier on the game, the Bobcats are focused in on number 7. They know who that playmaker is on the outside, and he's been doubled almost every single time he's gone out for a pass.
That they definitely do know who catches the ball and gets upfield with it. So we'll bring up a 3rd and 20 now. Again, clock stopped, 3:31 left to go here in this opening quarter of this throwdown here at H-Town, the Class 2 District 6 championship game. It's 14-0 in favor of Bowling Green. Trips on the far side, 1 receiver near side. Cobb will get the shotgun snap. He's dropping back, looking far side now. He'll check it down to Fowler. He's going to be tackled from behind across the 20. He was trying to set up a screen, but somebody got in there, busted it open.
Yeah, it looked like he could have had a nice little gain there. One of those defensive linemen for Bowling Green was able to diagnose the screen, hold up from rushing at Cobb, and able to make the tackle there. Looks like the Indians will go for it, though.
Well, they're in the neck of the woods here where I absolutely would go for it probably 100% of the time, especially being down 14-0. We do have whistles, and we're going to have a timeout called by Bowling Green, so they want to think about what they're going to do defensively. Clock stopped, 2:59 left here in this opening quarter. It's 14-0 in favor of the Bobcats. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Since 2018, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC has been specializing in all things custom, using large format, high-powered lasers with some of the most advanced technologies on the market. Anything can become a canvas. This state-of-the-art system makes quick work of custom engraving on cups, glass, tile, wood, acrylic, metal, with endless possibilities. They also offer custom one-of-a-kind signs that are sure to make your design stand out. Visit HanCustomLaserEngraving.myShopify.com or call 573-489-8732 to find out more. Han Custom Laser Engraving LL.
For the Indians, they'll have trip receivers far side. Hobbs will be in the backfield now. Austin will come across the play beyond the near side. Tiger Cobb has to step up, evade some pressure, throws it, got his receiver inside the 5, catching it is Hobbs, and he just got enough to pick up the new set of downs.
That's a beautiful play there by both players. Cobb avoiding some pressure there in the backfield, took a hit as he got rid of that ball, and Hobbs, perfect job of finding the soft spot in the zone for exactly the yardage that they needed.
He knew what he needed, and he planted those feet with about a half-yard extra. So they will set up again, 1st and goal, this time inside at the 4-yard line. Knocking on the door. 2 backs in the backfield, 1 offset, 1 behind. They'll give it to Hobbs. He's trying to work the far corner, and he's going to stretch it out, but he's going to be short.
Yeah, again, that gap discipline by the Bobcats really solid here early on. They're not getting fooled by those fakes, by those options.
Well, he tried to stretch it out, tried to keep those legs moving, and just could not get across the goal line. So we'll be 2nd and goal. Looks like he got no gain, so 2nd and goal at the 4. They'll have one receiver either way, Osteen up top. Down here on the bottom is Fowler. They'll also have a wing, as well as Hobbs in the backfield, standing a couple of feet over from Cobb. He'll get it, actually fake it. They'll pitch it off, and for the moment, it's going to be a touchdown, but we're going to check the flag. They flipped it off to Xavier Stinson. We'll see what they're going to call. There's quite a conversation going on. That thing came out of the official's pocket in a hurry.
Don't know what the penalty would have been on. Play looked clean to me, and you're going to hear some chatter here from the home side.
I didn't even see what it was.
Not sure. It looks like they blew the play dead, but
yeah,
didn't.
I think they waved.
Didn't move the ball.
Off,
interesting.
which is unfortunate because that went into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays you draw up and you use in a special occasion. That's tough to burn one there for the Indians.
Clock rolling under a minute, 40 to go here in this opening quarter. Indians trail 14-0. So again, they'll have a receiver on either way. Cobb will be in the shotgun. He'll give it off. Nice move to hurdle a man, and into the end zone is Hobbs. He hurdled a man and takes it in from 4 yards out.
It's a beautiful cut there. You heard Coach Conyers talk about in our pregame show about how elusive he has been lately. And the free safety came down, had a free run at him, and all he did was hit the brakes with that left foot and jump cut there into the end zone.
He takes it in from 4 yards out, and they will go for 2, as they do. Trying to cut that lead that was 14, cut it in half. Make it still a one-score game. Now they'll send a player across from the far side, pitch it off. Same play they run, and Xavier's going to be in there for the two-point conversion. So they just had to run an extra play in between those, but both times that was successful on just a little Patrick Mahomes shovel pass off to your wing, and they go in for the two-point conversion.
Yeah, so I guess in hindsight they didn't have to burn one because they were able to use it there on that two-point conversion.
So that makes it a 14-8 ball game. A minute 25 to go here in the opening quarter. That 14-8 score in favor of the Bobcats. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Shooter Sports Network.
Attention Indians fans, here's your chance to help the student athletes of Hallsville by becoming a member of the Hallsville Athletic Boosters. Your gifts help provide all Hallsville athletes with a safe and positive experience while attending our school district, and also help purchase items that our sports team couldn't otherwise afford. You can join the Hallsville Athletic Boosters this season for as little as $25. Membership is open to everyone. Interested in joining? Look them up on Facebook by searching Hallsville Athletic Boosters or email them at hallsvilleathleticboosters@gmail.com. Let's go Indians!
Tee it up, nice side-winding high kick. Is going to drive the return man back inside his own 20. That starts with it. He's across the 30, across the 35, still on his feet, across the 40, across midfield. He might take it to the house as he's streaking across the far side. He's going to be tripped up and pushed out of bounds inside the 20. That is not the return they were looking for.
Yeah, and that's not the guy you want to put the ball in his hands. Nice kick there from the Indians, but you kick it right at Starks, and he's able to make someone miss and go down the sideline there. Not exactly what the Indians wanted coming off that score.
That is not at all what they wanted to do.
Coach Conyers visibly upset with his kicker, probably for the same reason. Don't kick it to the guy that can make the play like that.
That sets Bowling Green up just 16 yards away. And really, they've had no problem scoring because they've scored on both of their possessions. They'll give it to the second back through. He does lose his footing and falls down. That was Keel on the carry, but he does pick up decent yards there.
Yeah, they're playing these heavy formations, these heavy sets. Lots of offensive linemen, lots of tight ends in the game like we've talked about. Really packed in, jammed tight. And they're able to pick up 4 or 5 yards there, with relative ease.
Under 50 seconds to play here in this first quarter in regulation of our championship game. That's for the Class 2 District 6 title. As again, they'll get it quickly thrown down in the backfield. That was Starks with it and shooting through. is a host of players, but big junior DJ Larkin leads the charge.
Yeah, that's really the first time all night you've seen the Indians get some penetration there in the backfield. A really nice job there of splitting those two fullbacks out, lead blocking for Starks and getting him to the ground.
Larkin just cut his way through. He's listed as a 6'3", 230-pound junior. He has got 13 thrown for losses this season. So play clock is going to wind down, game clock rather, 2-1. And that will sound the horn for the end of the first quarter of play after one quarter. It's Bowling Green 14 and the Indians 8. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
The score of any athletic event is generally forgotten over time, but the actions of players, coaches, and spectators leave lasting impressions. The next time you attend a high school game, think of how history will remember you. Choose good sportsmanship and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. Remember, the lessons you teach today will help develop better citizens in our communities for tomorrow. This message has been brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and this local radio station.
Perfect, right?
Actually, we were thinking of Rome.
I know an agent there.
Look at this view. This place is unbelievable. It's beautiful. We've been looking at Jamaica.
I know an agent there.
Welcome to Jamaica.
We love
it. But we're thinking about Tokyo. I know a guy.
You know an agent too. That's Kathy Rush at RE/MAX Jefferson City. Call her today at 573-761-3405.
7 ball at the 13-yard line. The Bobcats will keep it himself. He is their quarterback, streaking towards the corner of the end zone, and he is going to be in there for a 13-yard touchdown run. Dalton takes it himself.
That's just beautiful play design there. You know, they sucked the Hallsville defense, those linebackers down into the middle, and all Dalton does is fake it to Starks and run around the outside.
Takes it from 13 yards out. Adds back to his team's lead. Easy to do when you start on the opponent's 16-yard line. So they will go for 2 here, as they do. They will roll to the far side as Dalton. And hits his receiver in there for the 2-point conversion. It is good. And that makes it a 22-8 score here at the moment. We will pause and take a break as you're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network. Last Sentinel Firearms is your federally licensed and registered Type 7 FFL manufacturer dealer in Missouri, providing quality products to all types of sports enthusiasts, law enforcement, and individuals across the nation. Orders are currently being fulfilled, offering custom-built pistols and rifles from the AR platform with a guarantee of 100% American-made products. Visit their website at lastsentinelfirearms.com or call them at 417-684-7202 to find out what they've got for you. Last Sentinel Firearms, you are your last line to defense. A deficit, much like they just got themselves out of, as they're down 22-8 right now. Here to these Bowling Green Bobcats. Both these teams undefeated, both sitting at 10-0 on the season. One of them will continue on towards a state championship. The other one starts looking at fall sports. That high winding kick is going to bounce at the 10, take a right-hand turn, and go out of bounds.
Not what the Bobcats were wanting there. They brought in a different kicker. That wasn't Starks that time. Brought in their other kicker, and he kicks it out of bounds.
He definitely got his leg into that, and as I said, makes a right-hand turn, goes out of bounds. So ball will be spotted at the 35-yard line. That's where the Indians will start with it.
And the thing about this Hallsville offense, they're so dynamic, so explosive that even this two-possession game doesn't feel quite as out of reach as it might for other teams.
You're exactly right. Tiger Cobb will command his troops. He'll be in shotgun, has 2 receivers either way going left to right on your media center, and just threw that one well over the head of everybody. Was intended for A.J. Osteen, but wind caught it, took it out of bounds.
Yeah, not sure if the wind caught that one or just kind of lost the grip. Like we said, it is cold out here, and the wind is whipping around. Cobb out there, no gloves, no sleeves. Have to imagine those fingers are getting a little chilly right now.
I know my hand is getting chilly. Same with with my pen. It's not working quite right because it is, last I checked, it was about 35, 34 degrees here when the game started. So 2nd and 10, ball at the 35-yard line. Twin receivers either side. Cobb will keep it himself as he's going to try to get the corner and could not think about making the pitch as the defense closed in on him quickly, and he's going to lose a couple yards.
Yeah, that play didn't have much of a chance from the start. Cobb kind of bobbled that snap, didn't have his pitch available there. Just not a whole lot going right there on that one.
So we'll bring up a 3rd and 12. Clock rolling under 11 and a half to go here in this first half. Again, Bobcats leading 22-8 over the Hallsville Indians. Hallsville, the number 1 seed. Bobcats, the number 2 seed, both coming in 10-0 undefeated. One receiver far side, 3 here on the near side. They'll rearrange. A.J. Osteen falls down on the play, but he's going to be wide open, makes a grab at the 40, and he's going to be tackled just shy of the first down marker. He is slow to get up, though, as I think he might have tweaked something when he slipped and fell.
Yeah, it was a little awkward there for Osteen going down to the ground. Cobb actually had a receiver out of that bunch set here on the near side. Looked like he was streaking down the field. Cobb looking for Osteen. Got a good gain, but could have had a touchdown.
Osteen gets up, held his right collarbone for just a moment, so he's going to stay in there. He's tough as nails. They'll go for it on 4th and short. Cobb will keep it himself straight up the middle. He's got several yards. He'll be near midfield.
Yeah, that's exactly what Coach Conyers talked about last week. He talked about his left side of his offensive line wanting to run behind him. What does he do on 4th and 1? Goes to the left side.
So that will be a new set of downs. We've really had very few first downs because they haven't needed them. They've just taken it all the way into the end zone. So it will be a new set of downs. Ball at the 48-yard line. Clock nearing 10 to go here in this first half. Again, Hallsville trails 22-8 to Bowling Green. They'll fake the end around. Cobb straight up the middle. He's across midfield. He'll be tripped up. And they'll say he gained 11 yards, moves the chains himself.
Yeah, Cobb saw the daylight there. He was about a half of a tackle away from going straight up the gut for a touchdown. Again, not a whole lot of defense early on here. Up the middle there. They're seeing a lot of openings in that Bobcat defense.
A.J. Osteen does come out here on this play. He's getting attention from the medical staff. They are looking at that right shoulder, right collarbone area. So hopefully he's just got a minor tweak and he'll be able to come back in the game later on. So 2 receivers on either side, twin receivers. They're both stacked up one behind the other. There's the option pitch off to Fowler. He's going to be at the 35 before he's ushered out. That looked like it was going to collapse in a hurry, but he was able to tightrope the corner, get upfield, and pick up positive yards.
Yeah, that was Gunnar Bryant blowing up that play in the backfield. He laid a lick there on Tiger Cobb. Cobb, veteran move, savvy player, pitches the ball at the perfect time, to turn a 4-yard loss into about an 8-yard gain.
So we'll be a 2nd and 2 now. Cobb will have 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. Fowler will get misdirected into the right hip pocket. Now Cobb will keep it himself. He's across the 30, the 20, 15, 10. Has 2 men to beat. He will be taken down inside the 5.
Like I just touched on, a lot of room up the middle. Because the Indians spread you out, they have the opportunity to punish you right down the middle of that defense. Not normally where that vulnerable point is, but Tiger Cobb taking full advantage of the fact that the Bowling Green defense has to be spread out to cover these receivers.
Cobb takes it straight up the middle. It's going to be 1st and goal at the 5. They'll look over and get the call from the sidelines. He'll send some traffic. That's Fowler now to his right. He'll keep it himself. He's hit in the backfield. He's taken down, loses a couple yards.
Yeah, nothing much going there. That's Teddy Charlton for the Bobcats. 5'11", 246 pounds as a junior. Big fellow there blowing that one up.
So still will be a 2nd and goal opportunity, but ball will be spotted at the 6, so they say he only lost about a yard. Again, the wind continuing to blow here. I'll be lucky if I have any voice left by the end of the game. So 8:50 to go here before halftime. Hallsville trails 22-8. They'll fake it to Fowler. Keeping it up the middle is Cobb, and he will have 1 yard, but it'll put him back at the original 1st and goal location.
Yeah, that's tough running there by Cobb. That defensive end was collapsing on the play, and Cobb was lucky to get, 1 and even back to the line of scrimmage.
So we'll bring up a 3rd and goal, ball at the 5-yard line. Again, A.J. Osteen still getting looked at here on the sidelines. 8:15 and counting. 22-8 score in favor of the Bobcats. And we have a timeout called. We'll have a timeout with 8:09 as Hallsville does call a timeout. So they want to decide what they want to do here on this 3rd and goal. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Riverwalk Christian Academy has been providing a strong biblical foundation and academic excellence within a Christian environment for more than 15 years. Located in Jefferson City, Riverwalk Christian Academy offers kindergarten through 6th grade that prepares students to impact the world for Christ. Average class sizes are just 16 students, with the student body comprised of families from over 30 area churches. Kinder prep offerings include 3 and 5 full-day sessions, with kindergarten offering half-day and full-day programs. To find out more about Riverwalk Christian Academy, call them at 573-634-3983.
Indians call a timeout to see what they want to dial up here. And it's 3rd. Ball at the 5-yard line.
I think Coach Justin Conyers has something up his sleeve there. You know, has a reason to call that timeout.
The shovel pass works for him. Why not go back to that? 8:09 left to go here. Cobb will be instructed. He'll give it straight up the middle, trying to work in, is Hobbs, and we'll say he is just short of bring up down.
I cannot imagine here a scenario that Justin Conyers decides to kick a field goal. That's just not what he does. And I wouldn't either, to be quite honest.
So it'll be 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. Hobbs took it down to the 1. Well, they'll say maybe it's at the 2. Looks like the 1 from here. Nearing 7.5 to go here in this first half. First quarter owned, at least on the scoreboard, by Bowling Green. Cobb will give it straight up the middle, and he did the pass again. You're right. I was caught looking off. I was caught, basically, I was paying attention, but not to the right thing. So a shovel pass off to Stinson again. That seems to be like a play that just Bowling Green doesn't have a chance. They don't know what to do with it.
Well, and it works once, and it might as well work twice, and that's a critical touchdown there for the Indians. Would have been demoralizing to get the ball all the way down inside the opponent's 2-yard line and come up short. Luckily, Tiger Cobb willing this team to a touchdown.
So Stinson gets credit for a 2-yard touchdown shovel pass. They'll send Fowler in motion as Cobb will keep it himself, trying the right side, getting pushed around. He'll be in there for the 2-point conversion. He falls forward and gets the 2 points.
That one looked like it was going to come up short, but again, that's all heart from Cobb as he fist pumps as he's running off the field.
He was short, but kept the legs going, kept them pushing, and shoves into the end zone. And that makes it a 22-6 ball game in favor of Bowling Green. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Fans, when you attend a high school game, do you stand at attention during the national anthem? Do you cheer a good play by the opposing team? If your team loses, do you take it well in stride? If you have answered yes to any of those questions, you are showing positive examples of sportsmanship. Don't forget that when you attend high school events, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior. By making a conscientious effort, you'll be helping our students grow into better citizens. This message has been brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and this local radio station.
And just like what Bowling Green did, kicking out of bounds. So it'll start at the 35.
Yeah, that's an interesting play to me. It looks like it might have gone off a Bowling Green deep man. They're going to say it didn't and spotted at the 35.
So Bowling Green will set up on their own 35. Again, trying to nurse my voice along because it's going to be a long second half of the game if I can't talk. I guess, depending on who you ask, that might be a good thing. So clock stops, 7:22 left to go here in the first half. Bowling Green leads 22-16. They start at their own 35 as Dalton will be up under center. He's got it quickly, pushing the pile. Boy, he just picked up 9 yards. He was through the second wave of the defense pretty much before he even got the snap.
It's basically a QB sneak is what it is. It's a super old school football. Bowling Green, not yet here in the 21st century in terms of the offense that they're running, but it's working.
You're absolutely right on that. It is old school smash mouth football, but most importantly, it's working. As they lead 22-16, it shows why they have the 10-0 record. Dalton again has 3 backs behind him. He'll go up under center. He'll give it to Starks. He's across midfield and touchdown saving grab as he was tackled from behind after a 12-yard run at the 45.
Yeah, that's Tiger Cobb there in the safety position with Austin still on the sideline. Austin has his helmet in his left hand, seems to be nursing that right shoulder like we talked about. Doesn't look like he's headed back into the game anytime soon.
Yeah, that right arm just kind of hanging there, not really doing anything. So ball at the 45-yard line of the Indians. They'll give it to Starks again. That time he swallowed up, but he's still going to pick up about 5 or 6 yards.
That's all they're doing there. Super simple offense. Quarterback turn around, hand the ball to your best player, have 2 lead blockers in front of him. And even though they're able to get a hand on him early, it's still a gain of 6 on first down.
So we'll bring up a 2nd and 4. They have to get to the 35-yard line in order to move the chains. Clock rolling, 6:12 left here in this first half. In the Windy Bowl, the throwdown in H-Town here for the district championship. Starks will get it again, tripped up. He'll maybe have 3 yards, but he was tripped up quickly.
Yeah, it looked like he may have gotten tripped up by his own fullback there, and going to set up a short 3rd down would be a huge stop for the Indians defense.
This defense needs to find a way to stiffen up and get the ball back. Their team is still within the ball game, still within striking distance, but they've got to get it back for the offense. Dalton up under center again. He'll take it himself. Again, QB sneak. He's got 3 yards, move the chains.
It doesn't look pretty, but it is effective, and it does work. And I can understand why this Bowling Green offense has had so much success throughout the season. It's because they run a simple offense, and it works.
Yeah, he just gets the ball, tucks his head, and he falls forward. He's listed at 5'10", 165, but I got to say he looks more like 6'2", 6'3", when he stretches that ball out. The ball will be on the 34-yard line. Again, new set of downs here for Bowling Green. They lead 22-16, 5:15 left here in the first half. Winner, crowned district champion. The loser goes home. As Dalton will have it, he'll be thrown down at the line of scrimmage. That second, third effort, that defense swallowing him up. And he will actually lose a yard on the play, so it'll bring up 2nd and long. But as I said, winner, Class 2 District, Class 2 District 6 champion. The loser starts thinking about winter sports.
And that's really good discipline there from the Hallsville defensive line. Dalton trying to sneak around the edge like he's had some success doing earlier in this game. And this time the Indians are not biting on it.
Well, the defense, too, there, they had to stretch that out. That's why he couldn't find a lane to cut in. They had to stretch it out. So Dalton will go up under center again. They just jumped off. Somebody was a little too rambunctious. That is Gunnar Bryant, the junior tight end.
Little antsy there, looking to get a head start. Not like they have needed a whole lot of help, pushing the pile here early in this one. Silly mistake.
Absolutely, that's a mental mistake. That's one that they will watch in film, and he will say, I've got to do better than that.
This is really where the Indians' defense has to capitalize. You got 2nd and 16 behind the chains for the Bobcats. Got to get a stop here. You want to get the ball back before half.
So what was 2nd and 11 is now 2nd and 16. 2 receivers far side. Dalton dropping back, has some pressure. He's flushed out of the pocket through his hands of his receiver. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, looked like that one wasn't actually intended for Starks, but Starks went out to make the play on that. See, and that's a little bit of miscommunication there. Obviously, it's tricky. They're running that flood concept where they're running 2 routes in a practically similar manner, one just a little deeper than the other. Starks probably thinks that ball's intended for him, but his receiver right behind him was wide open.
Jack March, the senior linebacker, was applying pressure. It flushed Dalton out of his pocket, made him do what he didn't want to do. Hear the crowd get alive again. Dropping back, looking downfield, throwing it up, and it's offline. There were 3 defenders there. Was looking for Keel.
That's a great job there by the Indians defense. Still not really sure what the Bobcats are going to do here on 4th and long. Could see another sort of pooch punt, but you're in that sort of the field that, you know, it really hasn't seemed to make a difference where the Indians have started. They've been pretty good at driving the ball down the field regardless.
This is the first 4th down that Bowling Green has seen. 4:02 left here in this first half. They are going to go for it, it does appear. They'll send trip receivers on the far side. Dalton has some pressure again. He's going to have to unload it and finds his receiver at the sticks. He falls down at the 20. They move the chains. Pick up a huge 4th down on the receiver who was wide open. We'll see who that was that caught it. That is Owen Niemeyer.
And visible frustration there from the Hallsville sideline. Don't know how somebody gets that wide open on a 4th and 16. Definitely disappointing for the Indians.
So we'll bring up a new set of downs as they'll give it to Stark. He's cut down, loss on the play. Nice job of the defense to crash down. Again, Jack March, we've mentioned his name a couple times here on this drive. He is in the backfield. That previous play, he was giving chase to the quarterback.
Yeah, and that right there, March looked like he got blocked and happened to be in the right spot to make the tackle here.
So we'll bring up a 2nd and 10 ball at the 21-yard line, nearing 3.5 to go here in this first half. Again, Bowling Green leading 22-16. They'll give it to the first man through. He'll move the pile. Still moving the pile. Ball does come out, and they'll say, though, that the play was dead. Don't know if that's the right or the wrong call, but I think it's probably the right call.
Yeah, it looked like his forward momentum was stopped. Although the Hallsville student section might tell you something different, unfortunately for the Indians. Looked like his forward progress wasn't going much further right there, and maybe a little bit of a quick whistle, but I have no problem with it.
It's hard to see from up here because we are a long ways away, and we do not have the greatest eyes, so I agree. I think that was the right call. As quarterback sneak again, Dalton doesn't get much on that. He gets a couple, but, boy, he gets that snap and just is upfield that quick.
Yeah, it's almost like a center sneak where you're just handing the ball to the center and he's just running directly down the defense's throat. And I have to think that play call is probably because you know you're going for it here on 4th down, as we see A.J. Austin heading to the locker room with that right arm kind of just hanging down to the side.
Well, he is moving it, but obviously it's in some pain and discomfort. That is a big blow right now for the offense and for the defense. 4th down play as Dalton rolling on the far side. He's looking for the end zone, throws it up. Ball is going to be knocked down by his own player on that 4th down play because the Hallsville player was set up to make an interception. And I believe coming off, that would have been
Tiger Cobb.
Sorry, I was trying to look for another play. Also over there, Landon Sievers doing a great job. He was man for man with his guy. That's where I think they were looking to go for it, but nowhere for it as Tiger Cobb comes up. Big turnover right there. That might be potential play of the game.
Yeah, that's a massive stop here with 2:23 left in the second quarter. Hallsville with a chance to drive down the field and get the ball to start the second half.
So Tiger Cobb will keep it himself. He'll run up the middle and have a short gain.
Seeing it seems like a long field here with just over 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter, but we've seen how quick this offense can move the ball down the field.
They can get upfield in a hurry. So he does just get 1 yard on the play. So Cobb will call out what he wants. As he will be in shotgun as twin receivers either way. He's going to roll to the near side. He'll pitch it off and off the hands, and it's going to be a fumble recovered off the hands of Fowler and recovered by Bowling Green.
That's an ill-advised pitch there. Didn't quite have a good handle on that ball. Hobbs trailing a little too far behind Cobb, and that's a huge turnover, a really costly turnover.
That's one there that they'll probably watch and say, you know, we probably should have not tried to make that pitch, as that goes as a fumble. Gives it back to Bowling Green.
Indians got to be really disappointed with that. Get a huge stop on 4th down, deep in your own territory, and then give the ball right back to the Bobcats.
So Bowling Green has it. They try to run up the middle. Again, not a lot there, but a couple of yards of forward progress.
Yeah, Starks really does a good job of keeping those legs churning. We talked about the Indians' backs doing the same thing. Starks definitely doing that for the Bobcats tonight.
So we'll bring up a second, and they'll say about 8. Again, clock under a minute and a half to go. 22-16 score in favor of the Bobcats.
And at this point, really, if you're the Indians' defense, you're looking for damage control with this little time left in the first half.
Bobcats will break the huddle. They'll send 2 receivers far side. They'll have a tight end here on the near side. Running the option, keeping himself is Dalton. He'll be down inside the 5, so he will move the chains. It'll be first and goal at the 5.
Have to think if you're the Indians here, you're selling out on that run like you have all night. Clock's going to stop with 56 seconds on that first down, and now we're rolling again.
Again, clock winding down. Hallsville does get the ball to start the second half of play. They'll send 2 receivers to the far side. Bowling Green has it first and goal at the 5. 2 backs in the backfield. And whistles, all kinds of movement. Everybody was in motion, was going the wrong direction. So we'll be against the Bobcats. They will back them up here.
Yeah, and see, that's the downside of always going so quickly if you're the Bobcats. Not allowing yourself to get set and costing yourself 5 yards.
That could have been called on about 3 different players there, as there were multiple players who were not set when the snap happened. They wind the clock, 36 seconds left in the first half of play. Bobcats lead 22-16 over the Indians. Up the middle with it. Still on his feet, a flag comes in. 2 flags come in. He'll be down near the 5 as Dalton keeps it. We'll see what they want to call.
Looks like each team pointing in the direction of the other.
Yeah, where the flags are located, it does seem like one could be a holding call and one is way outside over near the 10-yard marker on the far side. So personal foul, face mask, so that will make it that much closer. I guess on the positive, if you're going to do a face mask, you do it inside the 5 because you only give up 2.5 yards. But
yeah, the downside here is that you go from a 3rd down to a fresh set of downs now with the ball in the 2.
So timeout called here by the Bobcats. We'll just keep it right here as we are just shy of 8 o'clock here on the Show Me Sports Network. Blake Gazaway here with you, joined by Patterson Follis, as we're bringing you coverage here of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Go ahead.
Kind of shell-shocked a little bit. The fans have been, but they're finding their feet as they trail 22-16. Their Indians do. This game we knew coming in was going to be physical. Both teams 10-0 on the season. Both teams putting that undefeated record on the mark, and so far this game has really lived up to what we thought it'd be.
That's exactly what I was about to say. This game has lived up to the hype that it had coming in, and you're going to see, even if the Bobcats score here, the Indians get the ball back to start the second half, remind you. So they're not out of this game yet.
So 22-16 your score. Clock stopped with 25 seconds left here in the first half. Bobcats leading the Indians. As the Bobcats do call a timeout to see what they want to do on their first and goal at the 2.5-yard line. Dalton up under center. He's, I think, going to keep it himself. Somebody had the football. There's about 3 players there that could have had it, but I think he kept it. Nope, they say he gave it off to Charlie Bowen. So Bowen gets a 2.5-yard touchdown.
And they're really disappointing if you're an Indians fan there. Obviously, get the huge stop on 4th down and then turn around and give up a touchdown. Not what Justin Conyers wanted heading into halftime.
So that goes as a 2-yard touchdown run by Bowen. They will try for the 2-point conversion and trying to get in the end zone. They say no good. 2-point conversion fails. So that at least keeps it at a 28-16 score instead of it being 30-16. 19 seconds left. We'll take a quick break and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
As a former veteran, for 2 years I tried to get my disability and nothing worked. Then I called Wes Swinigan, and he got the results that I really needed.
I hear stories like this all the time where people are overwhelmed with the system. As a former Social Security attorney, I will help you get the benefits that you deserve.
Russ Swanigan lives and works in mid-Missouri, and he's here to help you.
The help you deserve for the benefits you've earned. The law offices of Russ Swanigan.
However, they have 19 seconds to work with. They trail 28-16. Here to the number 2 seeded Bowling Green Bobcats here in the Class 2 District 6 championship game. Winner advances into the state tournament. The loser, season is over. Side winding kick is going to bounce at the 25, taken by Tiger Cobb. He's across the 30, making a couple men miss. He'll be upended and planted at the 37-yard line.
Seeing even with 14 seconds left like we have in the half, I'm not ready to say that the Indians are completely out of this. Tiger Cobb can break one at any moment.
Well, we know we're probably going to keep it on the ground based on the wind situation. I can't guarantee that, but there's a good probability.
Well, with Austin in the locker room, don't have your deep threat running down the field.
So three wide receivers will be stacked up on the far side, one here on the near side, as Cobb will have an empty backfield, as he'll have a wing on the far side as well. He'll get the snap rolling to the far side, has some blockers in front of him. He does a nice move, tripped up across the 45. And we're going to have, should be a personal foul too.
There's a Bobcat player that Cobb was already down and jumped right on top of his head. Cobb a little slow to get up. I can't necessarily blame him. He had a full force of a Bobcat defender coming down on his head, but he seems to be all right.
Yeah, I think the Bobcat player actually took the worst of that brunt as he's still laying flat on his back. Cobb at least is on his feet.
I think that might be number 1 Starks. That would be a huge loss for the Bobcats.
I think you're right on that. As A.J. Austin, we said, headed to the locker room a little while back. He took an injury to the right shoulder or right collarbone area, and I think that's when he tripped. He slipped and went down, and I think he tried to catch himself. As you were right, that is Starks getting up. He is walking very gingerly with a little hobble at his gait there on that left side, that left leg.
And awkward there. I'm not sure if Starks was the one that actually made the hit or not, but he's the one that gets punished there. But, you know, the Indians are going to get a 15-yard penalty added onto this, and all of a sudden you're looking at the ball at the 38, 37-yard line, and they're going to take a timeout here with 7 seconds left.
Well, that's exactly what we were talking about. Is Tiger Cobb is the spark to this offense. He takes it for big yardage, but then takes a big shot there, a late hit, but he moves the chains himself and then gets 15 more yards added onto that.
And I wouldn't be shocked here to see them kind of take that deep shot. 7 seconds left. Got to go an additional 37 yards for the end zone. Seems like this is the chance that you have. And even if you do take that shot down the field, if you're not going to be able to get in the end zone, fall down, take the timeout that you have remaining.
I would give a shout-out to our listeners. If anybody listening tonight here at halftime wants to bring us up some hot chocolate, maybe some tea for my voice, we would greatly appreciate it. We're located at the stadium on top of the press box. But hopefully you guys are enjoying tonight's broadcast here on the Show Me Sports Network. We'll talk about our scoring summary at halftime, get you set for the second half of action as well. Cobb will have twin receivers on either side, one back in the backfield. He will be in shotgun. He will drop back looking for the far side. He's going to take a chance, airs it out, and it's going to be overthrown. Almost interception was intended for his receiver in Landon Sievers. And that takes us to halftime, so that play took just too much time, but I like it. You got to go for the end zone there. Your team down 28-16.
Yeah, absolutely. That ball has to be in the end zone, and it was. Cobb knowing the situation and doing a really good job of executing. Obviously wishing he could have had that completion. But, you know, the Indians are going to get the ball to start this second half.
He tried to air it out, just a little bit too much under it, and it goes incomplete. We are going to take a break here. We're at halftime. We're 28-16 in favor of the Bobcats. We're going to take a break and then be back as we listen to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network. There are things in life you should always always do. Always say please and thank you. Always get a good night's rest and always take care of your teeth. After all, you're only given one set of permanent teeth to last you a lifetime. Southwest Dental Care is always the place to go for the highest quality dental care. They offer comprehensive general and cosmetic dentistry services for all patients of all ages. Their experienced and compassionate team is there to help you achieve lifelong oral health and a stunning smile. To find out more about Southwest Dental Care, call them at 573-634-4909 or visit southwestdentalcarejc.com. To get the best smile in town, you must dash to Southwest Dental Care.
Tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these two schools, but it's also an educational experience for the students involved. Because high school activities are about learning life values, your friends at this local radio station and the Missouri State High School Activities Association remind everyone to do their part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience for everyone. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship by showing good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson, and you'll be preserving a proud tradition in the state of Missouri.
We are State Tech. We are hands-on education. When you choose the #1 two-year college in the country, you know you will be ready for your career. That's why at State Tech we say, from the classroom to your career, we are the employer's choice. We are State Tech.
Hello, Blake Gazaway here with the Show Me Sports Network. I've had the opportunity to have some amazing calls, including overtime touchdowns, walk-off home runs, and buzzer-beating baskets. But I've answered another call. That's to serve my community as a volunteer firefighter. Stop and think what would happen if your home or property caught fire and no one was there to put it out. Every day, volunteer firefighters not only save lives and property, but also respond to other emergencies. Nearly 2/3 of our nation's fire departments are manned by volunteer firefighters. And because of this, we simply need more volunteers to step up and answer the call. Stop by or contact your local fire department and see how you can become a volunteer firefighter today. I answered the call to serve my community. Will you? Both teams in the locker room having quite a bit they're going to have to talk about here. Here the student section rallied up about something. Not sure what they're doing. So I think that's a bunch of these students from the student section of Bowling Green that were leaving, and both teams exchanging some verbal jabs with each other as they walk by. So, as we sit here, just under 12 to go here at halftime, Bowling Green leading 28-16 here. And what I would say is a little surprising score here at halftime. Didn't think it would be quite that much of a margin, but we'll tell you how we got there. Taking a look at our scoring summary here, well, Bowling Green was first to score as they scored on a 41-yard touchdown run by Starks. The two-point conversion was good. That was a pass from Dalton to Gibson. That was a six-play, 57-yard drive with 9:31 left to go. In the first quarter, that made it 8-0. Then the Bobcats would score again, this time on a 6-yard touchdown run by Keel. The two-point conversion was no good. That was a three-play, 85-yard drive with 5:26 left to go in the first quarter. That made it 14-0. Then the Indians would score on a 4-yard touchdown run by Hobbs. The two-point conversion was good on a pass from Tiger Cobb to Stinson. It was a shovel pass. That was an 8-play, 62-yard drive. That was with 1:25 left to go before the end of the first quarter. That made it 14-8. Then Bowling Green would score, this time on a 16-yard touchdown run by Dalton. Two-point conversion was good. That was a pass from Dalton to Keel. That was a three-play, 16-yard drive. That's set up after the defense of Hallsville gets a turnover on downs. But then on the ensuing play, the Indians fumble it, give it right back to the Bobcats. That made it 22-8 with 11:54 left in the first half. Hallsville would score on their next possession with a 2-yard touchdown pass from Cobb to Stenson. Again, just a little shovel pass. PAT on a consecutive stop. That was an 11-play, 65-yard drive. That was the 7:22 left in the first half. That made it 22-16. However, then the Bobcats would score again, this time on a 2-yard touchdown run by Bowen. That was a 16-yard drive. That came with 19 seconds left. For halftime, that made it 28-16. There we sit right now here at halftime. Having quite a bit being going here at halftime. Neither team, as Michael scored, neither team has played a 11-3 game by any means. Really would like to be a fly on the wall in the conversation of what's happening during this halftime conversation.
You have to think that Coach Conyers is saying something similar to what he did last week against Australia. He talked about, how this team has ever gone into halftime trailing, and all of a sudden, here in their first 2 playoff games, that's exactly what happened. He talked about not adding to the tension that I'm sure is already in the locker room. And have to think that, as a great leader and as a great coach, he's doing something along those lines.
You're absolutely right on that. The halftime conversations can go one of two ways. You either say, let's keep doing what we're doing, or you say, what are we doing? We have to make these changes. We have to make some corrections. We've got to do better. So both teams in the locker room going over those halftime conversations, getting prepped and prepared for the adjustments they need to make for the second half. Again, hopefully you're enjoying tonight's broadcast here on the Show Me Sports Network. Be sure, if you haven't done so, look us up on social media. Just search for the Show Me Sports Network. You'll find us on Facebook. You can like our page. We try to share some of the different activities and the different things that are going on with the network as well as with the team, as we will be transitioning here at some point over to basketball. Obviously, we've got football duties first, and we're with the Indians as far as they go. And hopefully, as we've talked, we'd like to see them make it all the way to a state championship and have the game here a few weeks from Faroe Field. That would be our perfect world, what we're shooting for. But the Indians have to take care of some business on the field first as they trail here at halftime 28-16. We're going to pause here and be back and get you set for the second half of action, as we'll pause as you're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Role models are more important than ever in today's society. You can serve as a role model for others the next time you display good sportsmanship at a high school athletic event. Good sports are winners and are also vital to preserving our fine sports traditions. So the next time you attend a sporting event, remember to be a good sport and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. This message has been brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and this local radio station.
Haven't seen an Avon brochure in quite some time and running out of some of your favorite makeup, fragrances, or skincare products? No need to worry. Avon representative Michelle Carty has got you covered. Michelle can consult with you on the newest line of products, as well as get those that have become your must-haves. You now have the opportunity to shop online 24/7 from the comfort of your own home and have your order shipped directly to your front door. To see how Michelle can help you out, find her on Facebook by searching Avon Carty. Live beautifully with Avon.
At Centurion Cares, for more than 3 decades, their focus has been on exceeding customer expectations for contact center software solutions. Their innovative communication solutions include utility interactive voice response software that allows for smart communication features that let your utility deliver superior customer service 24/7. They also provide other streamlined services like automatic call distribution, automated customer callback, reporting, and quality assurance. To find out more about how Centurion Cares can help your business, call them at 727-421-5300 or look them up online at centurioncares.com. Centurion Cares, innovative communication solutions.
The following public service announcement is brought to you by the Eddie Gaedel Society, Jefferson City Chapter 10, doing little things to make a big difference.
Want to make a big difference in your community? Be kind to others, drive safely, and put litter in its proper place.
Join us in celebrating Eddie Gaedel's historic Major League appearance as a member of the St. Louis Browns by doing something nice for someone today.
Take a walk, Eddie.
Whether it's balls and strikes, fouls, or flags, your referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. If you've ever tried your hand at officiating, you know how hard these men and women work, and you certainly know that they would never miss a call intentionally. Keep these things in mind as you attend sporting events. After all, respecting officials and authority figures is one of the most valuable lessons that we could teach our students. This message has been brought to you by your friends at this local radio station and the Missouri State High School Activities Association.
Since 2018, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC has been specializing in all things custom. Using large format, high-powered lasers with some of the most advanced technologies on the market, anything can become a canvas. This state-of-the-art system makes quick work of custom engraving on cups, glass, tile, wood, acrylic, metal, with endless possibilities. They also offer custom one-of-a-kind signs that are sure to make your design stand out. Visit HanCustomLaserEngraving.myshopify.com or call 573-489-8732 to find out more. Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, a veteran-owned business.
Attention Indians fans, here's your chance to help the student athletes of Hallsville by becoming a member of the Hallsville Athletic Boosters. Your gifts help provide all Hallsville athletes with a safe and positive experience while attending our school district, and also help purchase items that our sports team couldn't otherwise afford. You can join the Hallsville Athletic Boosters this season for as little as $25. Membership is open to everyone. Interested in joining? Look them up on Facebook by searching Hallsville Athletic Boosters or email them at hallsvilleathleticboosters@gmail.com. Let's go Indians!
The score of any athletic event is generally forgotten over time, but the actions of players, coaches, and spectators leave lasting impressions. The next time you attend a high school game, think of how history will remember you. Choose good sportsmanship and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. Remember, the lessons you teach today will help develop better citizens in our communities for tomorrow. This message has been brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and this local radio station.
Perfect, right?
Actually, we were thinking of Rome.
I know an agent there.
Look at this view. This place is unbelievable. It's beautiful. We've been looking at Jamaica.
I know an agent there.
Welcome to Jamaica.
We love it.
But we're thinking about Tokyo. I know a guy.
You know an agent too. That's Kathy Rush at RE/MAX Jefferson City. Call her today at 573-761-3405.
Last Sentinel Firearms is your federally licensed and registered Type 7 FFL manufacturer dealer in Missouri, providing quality products to all types of sports enthusiasts, law enforcement, and individuals across the nation. Orders are currently being fulfilled, offering custom-built pistols and rifles from the AR platform with a guarantee of 100% American-made products. Visit their website at lastsentinelfirearms.com or call them at 417-684-7202 to find out what they've got for you. Last Sentinel Firearms, you are your last line of defense.
And do the Harlem Shake.
Both teams still in the locker room here at halftime as we're just under 2 minutes to go before we get the second half underway. 28-16 your score in favor of the Bowling Green Bobcats. So I say that now. The Bobcats have made their way out of the locker room. Still yet to see the Indians as they trail here in this Class 2 District 6 championship game. The throwdown here in H-Town. It has been windy. It has been not drizzly. What am I trying to say? It hasn't snowed, but it's been
flurries.
Flurrying.
Yeah.
We've had flurries for quite a bit of the evening. Don't see anything right now. We've had a bonfire as well that was contained but had about one too many pallets on it. And we've had some good football. So it's been a cold, windy night, but we're only half done.
Yeah, and you know, we've had a really solid game, you know, in this first half. And hopefully we're going to get a treat here in the second half as the Indians start with the football.
As you said, the Indians have the football to start the second half. They do trail, so they've got to find a way to take it the length of the field and find the end zone. Then probably most importantly, that defense needs to get back out there and get a turnover, get the ball back, get a turnover on downs, put up a stop of some kind. They had a tough break there late in the second quarter. They forced a turnover on downs. However, the ensuing play for Hallsville resulted in a fumble on a pitch that did not make it into the hands of the pitch man. and went right back over to the Bobcats, who took it 4 plays later into the end zone and added to their lead.
Yeah, really the only difference in this game is that first drive for the Indians that got stopped, converted a first down, but then kind of got hung up there around midfield. And that's really what we're looking at in terms of the difference in this one. Obviously, the fumble was huge, but, if they had a chance there, on that first drive to go down and score a touchdown, all of a sudden we're looking at an equal game, with them to start the ball here in the second half with the opportunity, to make it, a tie ball game or even take a lead if they're able, to capitalize on those possessions that they had. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way, and they've got a little bit of an uphill battle here.
Well, 2 drives did not find the end zone for the Bobcats. 3 drives did not find the end zone for the Indians, and that really is probably a difference here in the ball game. That one drive, that third drive that they did not score, coming late in the half. They only had seconds to work with, 19 seconds to work with. Tried a couple of different things. They were able to get upfield, get some decent yardage, but just could not get in the end zone. They tried there at the end to have a long pass into the end zone, but fell incomplete. So that is really the difference in the game right now. As we said, it's really whoever finds a way to manufacture some drives here with the kids where it picks up a bit.
And disappointing news if you're an Indians fan. Not seeing A.J. Osteen here in this second half right now, at least on the field. Would not be surprised if he's out for the rest of this one.
Yeah, we said he went down with an apparent right shoulder, right clavicle, collarbone, something like that. He went down and stayed in for the next play. However, it was kind of short-lived. As he exited the ball game, they looked at that, did some work on it. At least what we see initially right now, he has not been able to come out here. Never returned to the game after that.
He's a tough kid, so if he's being kept out of this one, it's probably for good reason. Have to imagine that if he was in the right physical shape to be back in this one, he would be. Something tells me that Hallsville medical staff may be the ones keeping him out of this one.
I think you're absolutely right on that. He's a tough player. The 6'4", 195-pound senior. He's leaving it all on the field, and I agree. I don't think it's by his decision that he is not out there. Right?
The difference is, too, he makes an impact at receiver. He also makes an impact at that strong safety position. Now you're running your quarterback, Tiger Cobb, out there, and he's the one that's having to play Osteen's safety position on defense. Obviously, an impact player on the offensive side of the ball, also an impact player on the defensive side of the ball. That's the issue here in Class 2. You've got a lot of guys that go both ways and, have success going both ways. But when these rosters get thin and you lose a star player, it becomes very, very tricky.
You're absolutely right on that, and it shows how all the players are for the game. Bobcats first, lead on. The loss tonight. It must be down. Hopefully somebody has a nice souvenir down below. The ball will be teed up high, and over-end kick will be taken on the run at the 20 by the far return man. He'll be put down near the 30, but lost the football. Bowling Green says they haven't, and they do.
Just disappointing there. Looked to me like he could have been down, but again, on that far side of the field from all the way up here, it's really tricky to tell. Have to imagine Coach Gagne didn't think he was going to send his defense shaking his head on the sideline and really in disbelief.
Somehow that ball pops out of there, and again gives Bowling Green great field position.
Yeah, the Indians not doing a whole lot to help themselves. Last 2 Bowling Green drives have both started inside the opponent's 30-yard line.
Well, the defense will be called upon again. And Dalton will be up under center. He'll give it to Starks. Ball on the ground. I believe Hallsville has it. They say Hallsville does, so both teams exchanging turnovers. There is still life.
And that's one way to get right back into this one. Horribly disappointing, turnover there on the kickoff. And your defense comes up big for you. You just wish they didn't have to come up big. I mean, you didn't give them even an opportunity.
So we'll go back to Hallsville. That doesn't get you fired up. I don't know what will.
And all of a sudden, Hallsville right back in this game. We thought for about 30 seconds there it could have gotten ugly. But Tiger Cobb's going to man this offense.
Cobb will get the shotgun snap. He's going to give it off to Hobbs. He's still pushing a pile. He's got 13, 14 yards through the chains.
Yeah, Hobbs, that power back. That's three Bobcats bringing down Hobbs. Not an easy guy to get down to the turf.
Well, like I said, that's not a shot in the arm. I don't know what is. Temperature dropped a little bit here, about 35 degrees. Again, quickly up the middle, tripped up by the second wave of the defense is Hobbs.
Yeah, the Indians doing a really good job here. Obviously, Justin Conyers had a plan coming out at halftime. Didn't think he was going to get to execute it there on offense for a second. Looks like he's got a little bit of a change here in a little bit of scheme, going back to that run-pass option with Cobb leading the defensive line and going for good yardage.
The plan was not to fumble it on the kick return. So far, the ground game is working effectively here in the second half. Two receivers far side, one here on the near side. Second and about 4. Cobb will give it off to Hobbs. He's across midfield, and he's hit head on there and dropped on the 50-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, that was a big hit by Stark. Coming down from that sort of hybrid linebacker, free safety-ish position. He's a running back. Has a nose for the football on defense, though.
Ball spotted just across the 50. Going to bring up a 3rd and 1. Clock rolling 10:34 and counting here in this third quarter. Bowling Green leads 28-16. Receivers far side. Cobb will keep it himself on that left side. He's got the first down. Still pushing a pile. He's down at the 40. He's going to pick up good yardage.
And that's that left side of the offensive line. The Indians have real trust in those guys over there on the left side of that line. And they're going to run behind them when they need a couple of yards for a critical 3rd down conversion.
So that does bring up a new set of downs at the 42-yard line. 28-16, Bobcats leading. Cobb will keep it, reading the defense, has it here on the near side, gets across the 40, he's spun down there, he picks up about 3 yards. Again, Cobb delivering the hit to that Bobcat, it's been slow to get up.
Yeah, again, that's Gunnar Bryant. Paul Bryant's name a couple of times seems to be all over the field. The real difference I've noticed here tonight, Bowling Green has that sideline to sideline speed from the linebacker in defensive end position. And Tyler Cobb really having to work for those yards.
2nd and 7 as they'll give it off straight up the middle. It's Hobbs. He's across near the 30, down near the 25. He's going to pick up 12, 13 yards. He'll move the chain.
Yeah, Hobbs is a tough runner there up the middle. We talked about a little bit of that vulnerability right there up the middle in that Bobcat defense. A soft front there. And, the Indians continue to spread you out and then continue to punch the ball right down the throat.
Bring up a new set of downs. Ball at the 28-yard line of the Bobcats. Hobbs in the left hip pocket of Cobb. He's going to roll to the far side. He's keeping himself on a naked bootleg. He's trying to get the corner. He's going to be ran out of bounds. Taken down over there. He's picked up 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, really good job there by the Bobcats. Harrison Hunt, 6'3", 230-pound sophomore. Good job playing that defensive end position on the far side, pushing Cobb out to that boundary so that someone could come up from the second level and make a play. Cobb is still way too quick for that defensive line.
All that running does net him only 3 yards. Bring up the 2nd and 7. Ball at the 25-yard line. Team on either side. Give it off to Hobbs, trying to cut the corner. Didn't get much, but he doesn't want to lose something there.
Hobbs definitely could have had more there. Looks like he's got a whistle. That's right, there it is.
The official indicated on that side. Here the Hallsville Indians fans, the crowd do not like that call.
Looks like quite a few flags in this one. Not sure what the count is yet, but
7 Hallsville at 5 for Bobcats.
Yeah, see, I'm all for a clean game. We're a little over officiated right now, especially in some of these key moments.
Ball will be backed up to the 30-yard line. Second and 12 at the 30. And clock under 9 to go here in this first quarter. Hallsville take the shotgun snap. He's going to push it off to Hobbs. He's trying to get the corner to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Hobbs really sure-handed on that one. Didn't want to make the same mistake that they did late in the second quarter there. That was a safer pitch than the one we saw earlier.
Well, they say we got to the 39-yard line, so we got 2 yards, so 3rd and 11. Ball spotted at the 29-yard line of the Bobcats. One receiver on either side. They'll make the handoff looking to the corner. It's going to be thrown on the money, caught. Nice job there of the catch by Landon Sievers. He picks up 12 yards with the change.
Yeah, Sievers was a critical play last week to seal in that interception. And does a really good job. Looked like he lost a bit of his footing here after his boot was grabbed. It was a little damp from this really humid sort of, misty sort of weather. So
the good thing there, he needed 11 yards. He ran a route that's about 12. Under 8 to go here in this third quarter. And ball on the ground as looks like there was miscommunication there. And they're going to say ball goes back to Bowling Green. That is a drive killer.
That is absolutely a drive killer. That one looked like it might have been on Tyler Cobb. Looks like he's the one shaking his head there on that play. Looks like he made the read just a tad too late. Obviously, there.
Ball going to be spotted on the 15-yard line. So the defense will be called upon again. Indians trail 28-16 here in this Class 6 championship game here at Hallsville. Dalton have it himself. He's got the 30. He's going to pick up 15 yards before he's driven out of bounds. It's a hard hit.
That's Cobb maybe letting out a bit of frustration. Still kind of hanging his head. Not used to seeing Cobb down. His teammates are going to have to pick him up here because he has picked them up so many times.
Give it to the second man. Trying to work his way, but he's going to be put down on the 35.
That looks like a mile driver there.
Getting up off the pile. Mitchell Zimmerman getting up off the bottom of the pile. Also Walters in there. Right about that. That looks like a good school. Wrestling column driver. Second and 10. Game. Keeping himself taken out of the backfield as Dalton. He was looking to hand it off. Nobody there. And coming through is DJ Larkin, throwing him down for the quarterback sack.
Yeah, Larkin was the one that just made the nice pile driver play there. And all of a sudden, you've got the Bobcats in third and long. Another chance for your defense to pick up your offense, which was a little bit of the opposite in the first half. The offense needed to pick up the defense. Defense obviously got the memo from head coach Justin Conyers at halftime.
It's going to be 3rd and 12 now for the Bobcats. They lead 28-16. They'll split off 2 receivers far side, goes up under center. Up 2 backs to the backfield. He's rolling to the far side, gets it off to Starks. He's got the first down and more. He's got 20, 25 yards. Nice spin move across the 40. Still on his feet across the 30.
I think they've run that play in every situation that they've needed a long conversion. They run Starks across the field, and he's able to pick up that huge gain.
Starks takes it down to the 28-yard line. Big play there. Keeps the change. Keeps the drive alive. Bobcats. Break off the receivers down at the bottom. Dalton puts it himself. He's going to be put back, but I think he might have got a couple yards. back.
This Bobcat offense really reminds me of the neighborhood offense. Never pushes the ball down the field to the quarterback, but it just wants to run it over and over again and dare you to stop it.
Bring up a 2nd and 8. That ball on the 6-yard. So we'll bring up a 2nd and 8 on the 56.
Unfortunate news here for Indians fans. TJ Austin has the Cardinals jacket on, kind of right on that sleeve.
Well, Will losing himself across the 25. He takes it down there. Lofty tonight is done.
Flag here, like something after the play.
Also trying to make a case for something. But I don't think
it often doesn't go well. Players, official at the end of the day, said it's more important that somebody on the line eats Red Eagle there, trying to understand the situation.
trying to ask for the second to get one of the officials trying to connect the tape. So, what went on with that happened.
Using the miracle here to the official. Can't imagine that Tom is happy about this.
We apologize. I think we have some static here in our broadcast. However, I cannot hear anything. Stocking hats I have on and the boots that I have up. I cannot hear it, but I apologize. Mike tracking down. Yes. Working on that. Center starts, has it complete. Still on his feet, going across the 5 to the end of the end zone. He takes it in from 12 yards out.
Exactly, and that's all he has to do. Run the ball directly up the middle, keep those legs turning. And not a great start here to the second half.
Start takes it from 12 yards out. That drive is 86 yards across the field. Here, Dalton going to the far side. Has the pressure, he's going to check it down, pass not, and it's going to be a 2-point conversion. Is good. And with that, it's now a 22 lead at 36-16. Bobcats possibly back. Foundation. Well, the second half not going the way that the Indians scripted it up. They trail 36-16. Ball teed up. Kick high, number in kick will be taken again on the far side at the 15. Working it here to the near side, but the turn one and miss. He's going to be grabbed around the waist and he'll be taken down shy of 30. Again, getting a little bit emotional here in this game. Now the Bobcats are down on the far side. We'll wait for the play in.
A lot of extracurricular activity, just frustration, I think, for this one. But again, this game, it's a 20-point game. We have 16 minutes left to play here in this one. Over 16 minutes now. And I wouldn't say, I wouldn't necessarily say we're out of it.
lot awful this time. Last time,
left leg to start. He's been all over the field tonight. I can imagine that's probably a wear and tear in the work.
He has about 1,000 yards. Dropping the yard. So ball will be at the 29-yard line. Middle rolls over a player. He gets down at the 35.
Not a true runner, not a big kid, but he's going to run hard every single time he's there. He gets that no spot.
So he does take it for a 5-yard gain. We'll bring up a 2nd and 5 ball at the 35-yard line. Trip receivers on the far side. Give it to Fowler. He's working the near side. Nice stiff arm there. He's not going to get much yardage, but he just made 2 men miss. And I think maybe I got some of the background noise solved, maybe. Like I said, trying our best to call the game and diagnose our technical problems. That also happens when it's 34 degrees out.
Yeah, technology often seems to fail. Not really sure what's going on. We're working to figure it out.
So we'll bring up a 3rd and 5. All right, I did figure it out. It only took me forever. So 3rd and 5, Cobb will keep it up the middle. He's got the first down. He picks up 6-7 yards. We'll see where they mark him. He picked up 7 yards, 8 yards actually, moves the chains.
Yeah, and Cobb is not going away, even without his star wide receiver, A.J. Austin. He's decided that his senior season isn't going to end right now like this.
So ball on the 42-yard line of the Indians. Twin receivers either way. Cobb will be in shotgun, his team trailing 36-16. He throws it up for Severs. He makes it after about a 6-yard gain. He makes the catch and goes down right there.
Yeah, that's really nice there by the Indians. I like the play call. Get yourself a positive gain. Maybe threaten with that pass there. That's really been the problem. They haven't been able to threaten over the top because Austin's been on the bench. I really like that, even if it's a 6-yard hitch route.
So again, twin receivers up top. That's Cobb with it as he faked it to Hobbs. He's down inside the 30. He would not go down, and just making people miss as he takes it down to the 30, picks up huge yardage there at 15-plus yards.
Well, and see there, you spread the field out, and all of a sudden you're able to get that running room up the middle.
Nice job of him to fake the handoff to Hobbs. He got that deep in the belly and then takes it out and goes upfield. Clock under 2.5 to go here. As again, the Indians trailing 36-16. He'll keep it himself again as Cobb. He's got blockers. He's at the 15. Stiff arms the man about 5 yards out of bounds before he steps out. Boy, he threw that stiff arm with authority.
Yeah, that was Dylan Dalton for the Bobcats trying to lay the lumber. Cobb was not going to have any part of it. He just shrugged off that hit.
So we'll be 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. 2 receivers up top, 1 here on the near side, again going left to right on your media center. Cobb will keep it up the middle, tripped up. He got tripped up at the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a couple.
See, and even that's the thing. He's tripped up, falling forward, and he's still able to get positive yards. That's how you know he's a tough runner.
So we'll bring up a 2nd and 7, ball at the 9-yard line. Clock rolling, 1:50 to go here in the third quarter. 36-16 your score. As we said earlier, senior wide receiver A.J. Austin on the sidelines. They give it off to Fowler. He's working the far side. He's going to be down inside near the goal line. He took on 2 blockers and gets down near. Looks like he's maybe down about the 3.
And that's another tough run. These kids are not going down without a fight, and that is for sure.
So 2nd and goal at the, he will get it. It'll be 1st and goal now at the 2. As Cobb will keep it, throws it off. Same result as a touchdown to Stinson. Wasn't the shovel pass, but still effective.
Looks like we might have a flag on the play. Not sure
You're
what
right,
that
we
could
do
have been.
a flag. I think the indication maybe was a legal man downfield. At least that's what the official, he was pointing to his head. So they are having a discussion, so hold the phone for just 1 second.
Tricky to have an illegal man downfield when you're at the 3-yard line, but, more power to him.
Well, they are having a discussion, so the white hat I don't think is in agreement quite yet with the back judge. So they are going to have a discussion now. I agree. When you're on the 3 and you run a little shovel pass like that, well, it wasn't quite a shovel pass, but it's pretty hard to have an illegal man downfield. Normally you see that when you have those long delays where the quarterback has to buy time and buy time and buy time. That's when the linemen run out of people to block and they go downfield to block somebody.
Yeah, that was a really nifty play call, too. It was a run-pass option, and Cobb waited till the very last minute to exercise that option. It looked like he was about to be tackled, and then he pitched the ball, and looked like we had a touchdown.
They do wave off the flag, so the result is a 3-yard touchdown.
Good to see they got the call right there. Had a conference with all 5 officials and decided that they were going to pick up the flag. In my opinion, the correct call to make.
So Stinson gets credit for a 3-yard touchdown pass from Tiger Cobb. That is what they needed there. So they will go for 2 here. We'll look over and get the play call. They'll have 2 receivers, far side, 1 near side. Cobb will get the shotgun snap. He's going to keep it himself, left side, and he will not get in this time. Just came up short. But that does cut the lead down. It's 36-22. We'll pause here and be back as you're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Fans, when you attend a high school game, do you stand at attention during the national anthem? Do you cheer a good play by the opposing team? If your team loses, do you take it well in stride? If you have answered yes to any of those questions, you are showing positive examples of sportsmanship. Don't forget that when you attend high school events, young eyes are watching you for examples of acceptable behavior. By making a conscientious effort, you'll be helping our students grow into better citizens. This message has been brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and this local radio station.
Orshland has it teed up for the Indians as they trail 36-22. He says he's ready, and a short bouncing kick will be off the hands of Dalton. I believe they are going to fall on it, but that got a little hairy there.
It'll be interesting to see for the Bobcats here. Starks injured on that last drive. Not sure if he comes out at the running back position. That could be a huge blow.
Yeah, he was more wobbly that time than the 2 previous other times we saw him go down with an injury. So ball's going to be on the 35-yard line.
I don't see him out there on the field currently. Looks like we're going to get a heavy dose of Jordan Miller, number 5, and Cooper Keel, number 9.
So Dalton will go up under center. They'll give it to the first man through, and he's got 7-8 yards still on his feet as he will be now near the first down marker.
It's the issue with this offense. They're so quick when they decide to go up the middle that you've got to make that split-second read, and it's really, really tough to make that split-second read.
Charlie Bowen, the ball carrier there. So he picks up 10 yards, a little over 10, moves the chains. Again, Bowling Green leading 36-22. They'll come out here with 2 receivers here on the near side, nobody up top. Dalton will give it to the first man through. He'll have about 5 yards before he's tripped up there. That was Bowen again carrying it. He's got about 5 yards or so.
See, and that's the issue. They're so close up there to the line of scrimmage that they seem to be running downhill. because they're already falling forward the second an Indian hand gets on them.
So they say he actually got 6, so ball on the 49-yard line of the Indians. Clock nearing 30 seconds to go here in this third quarter. They'll keep it himself as Dalton. He's got 5 yards. Looks like he's got enough to move the chains.
It looked like the Indians defense trying to strip the ball out. No, they need a big turnover here. You know, still down 2 scores as we get ready to head into the fourth quarter here.
Clock stopped as they move the chains. 26 seconds left in this third quarter. It's 36-22 in favor of Bowling Green.
Looks like they will have to run another play here as the play clock is at 15 and the game clock at 19.
Dalton runs over to get the play call from his head coach in Joe Chin, second-year head coach at Bowling Green. Again, they've got to get something done here as, well, they just So there were 5 on the play clock, and then they just reset it.
Interesting. Must have talked with the officials about resetting the play clock because otherwise I can't understand.
So that will take us to the end of 3 after the end of 3 quarters. It is 36-22, and Bobcats over the Indians. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
As a former veteran, for 2 years I tried to get my disability and nothing worked. Then I called Wes Swanigan, and he got the results that I really needed.
I hear stories like this all the time where people are overwhelmed with the system. As a former Social Security attorney, I will help you get the benefits that you deserve.
Russ Swanigan lives and works in mid-Missouri, and he's here to help you.
The help you deserve for the benefits you've earned. The law offices of Russ Swanigan.
There are things in life you should always do. Always say please and thank you. Always get a good night's rest, and always take care of your teeth. After all, you're only given one set of permanent teeth to last you a lifetime. Southwest Dental Care is always the place to go for the highest quality dental care. They offer comprehensive general and cosmetic dentistry services for all patients of all ages. Their experienced and compassionate team is there to help you achieve lifelong oral health and a stunning smile. To find out more about Southwest Dental Care, call them at 573-634-4909 or visit southwestdentalcarejc.com. To get the best smile in town, you must dash to Southwest Dental Care. We will switch ends of the field. 12 minutes left in one of these two teams' season as Dalton will hand it off up the middle. That's Keel with it, and he's got about 5-6 yards.
Yeah, and really this Bobcat offense going for 5 or 6 yards, it seems like every time they decide to run the ball.
They're very consistent with that. So we'll bring up a 2nd and 5 as one of these two teams will move on and stay unblemished. Move to 11-0 and be district champions. The other will have their season come to an end and suffer their first loss of the year. Dalton will give it to Keel again. He's going to have the first down, still dragging defenders. He will pick up 6 yards, move the chains.
Again, there's that 6 yards we were just talking about. That's super simple. And one thing I've noticed is that Dalton will go over to the sideline to get the play call every single time. Has that conference with his coach. Looks like they decide every single play the exact perfect play to call.
So again, Bowling Green leading 36-22 here in the championship game. This championship game, Class 2 District 6 in high school football in Missouri. Dalton will be up under center. Again, he'll give it to the first man through. He's got close to 10 yards. As with it is Bowen on the carry.
Again, just super simple, directly up the middle. And it doesn't seem like the Indians have an answer for that right now. They just need to focus on clogging up the center of the field, and then that should limit that direct downhill running game.
I think whoever wins the game tonight has a very good chance to be competing in the Show Me Bowl for Class 2. We just hope that's a team wearing some purple on their uniform, purple and gold. So Dalton up under center, new set of downs. He'll give it off to Bowen again. He's picking up 5-6 yards. He'll get about, looks like 8 before he's shoved back.
I wonder if there's a requirement at Bowling Green High School to have the lowest center of gravity possible. It seems like every single one of the guys that runs the ball is so low to the ground and is such a menace to bring down.
So they only give him a gain of 6 yards instead of 7 or 8, so he didn't get as good a spot as I thought, but inside the 20 at the 19-yard line. Under 10 to go here in regulation. You hear the wind whip up once again. So Dalton will go up under center. 2 backs behind him, a receiver on either side. Bowen gets it, waits for the traffic to clear. He's got a new set of downs as he's down near the 10.
It's just a simple misdirection play. Again, I know we've said it over and over tonight. It's a simple offense. They're not running these crazy complex schemes, but it's so difficult to stop.
So will be a new set of downs at the 12-yard line. Again, Bowling Green leading 36-22. Clock rolling, under 9.5 to go here in regulation. Again, winner moves on to the state championship. Loser, their season is done. Dalton up under center. He'll give it to Bowen again, trying to work the far side. Stiff arm gets near the down marker before he steps out of bounds. He just slung that play, strung it along as far as he could.
Again, they decided to go to the outside there instead of up the gut where they have been going. And that's the difficulty. You pinch the middle, and they're just going to run around you.
So he does pick up about 9 yards there on the play. Clock stopped, 9:09 here in regulation. Again, Bobcats lead 36-22. Will be a 2nd and 1 play. Dalton up under center again, gives it to Bowen. He's going to sidestep and be in there for a 4-yard touchdown run.
It's really tough. That pushes the lead again to 3 scores. And with just over 9 minutes remaining in this one, it's starting to look like a tough lead to come back from. But nevertheless, it is this Indians offense, and I still have faith that they are a quick strike offense and can turn on the burners when they need to.
So they are going to go for 2 here. So rolling here to the near side is Dalton. We have a flag down, and his receiver caught it but was out of bounds.
I think you're going to look at a defensive holding or a pass interference here. Not sure, though. Looks like they're motioning over offensive holding. Interesting. So they sprinted the back out of the backfield, and there was a collision, and I guess they decided it was an offensive hold rather than a defensive hold.
So that will take us with 9:05 left to go here in regulation. Bowling Green 42, the Indians 22. We'll pause and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these two schools, but it's also an educational experience for the students involved. Because high school activities are about learning life values, your friends at this local radio station and the Missouri State High School Activities Association remind everyone to do their part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience for everyone. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship by showing good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson, and you'll be preserving a proud tradition in the state of Missouri.
Well, ball will be teed up for Bowling Green as they lead 42-22.
Have to imagine here, if the Indians want to get back in this one, it's got to be a quick score.
I think you're right about that. They've got to find a way to start putting some points up and not take very much time off the clock. Well, a sidewinding kick bounce at the 25, but I don't even have to see a flag out there. I can tell you, somebody on the kicking team was a little anxious to get upfield.
Interesting. They're not kicking the ball that deep. I can't understand why there would be that much of a rush to get downfield.
Or they say it fell off the tee, one of the two. So I think they agree that it fell off the tee. I'd like to see them go ahead and let them kick that, but they don't ask my opinion on it. So again, a short kick is going to take a left-hand turn and go out of bounds, almost take out the official on the far side. So the Indians will take over, start on the 35-yard line.
We'll see what Tiger Cobb is made of. We know the kid is extremely talented. Now let's see if he can bring his team down, down 20, bring them back into this one with 9:05 remaining in the fourth.
Well, kind of like you alluded to, I think they've got to find ways to score and score quickly. Make sure they get their two-point conversions. So ball will be on the 35-yard line. The Indians working right to left on your media center or the Show Me Sports Network app, however you're choosing to listen to tonight's game. Have a receiver on either side. They'll give it to Hobbs. He's through the first wave. He's across the 40, across the 45. He's tackled after about a 12-yard gain.
And that's Dalton, the Bowling Green quarterback, coming up to make the play from the safety position. He saved what could have been a 20 or 30-yard gain and limited to about 12.
So Hobbs does pick up 12 yards. Again, a receiver on either side of the formation. As they'll give it again, actually keeping it is Tiger Cobb. He fakes it to Hobbs, and he'll pick up short yardage, bring up second and about 8.
Another great read there by Cobb. His running back didn't have much of a chance to do anything with the ball, and he was able to swipe that out of his gut and take it for a positive gain, which is better than a negative gain.
So we'll bring up a second and 8, ball on the 49-yard line of the Indians. Cobb will throw it, and incomplete, was looking to hit his receiver on the far side. That fell into one of the big paws of one of the Bobcat players.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's Seth Huber, 6'3", 241-pound senior, a big force there on the left side of that defensive line.
Looking for just a little out pattern there, and it gets knocked out of bounds. So it'll be a 3rd and 8 now. Short 8 or a long 7, however you want to look at it. Ball just shy of midfield. Cobb will be in the shotgun formation. He'll get it, rolling to the near side, pitches it off to Hobbs. He's across midfield, makes one man miss across the 45. He will be down close to a new set of downs.
An obvious critical 4th down here now. Looks like they're going to have less than a yard to go. Have to imagine we look back to that left side of that offensive line and look back to your playmaker, Cobb.
So 2 receivers with the wing here on the near side. Cobb will get it. He's going to take it on that left side. He's got more as he goes across the 40. He needed 1, picked up about 7.
Just as I predicted, because I am so very smart, they go back to that left side, but obviously that's exactly what they wanted to do, and that's the result that they got.
One of the Bobcats is unable to get up. He got ran over by the Tiger Cobb train on that play.
Yeah, and that's Huber, the one who just knocked down that 2nd down pass. That would be another big loss. We've seen some stars go down here tonight, which is just unfortunate. Austin, obviously, here on the Hallsville side, and Starks over there on the Bowling Green side. It's a chilly night. Those hamstrings get a little tight. Those calves get a little tight. And it's just really unfortunate to see some of your big stars, limping off the field like you see Huber here doing.
Well, we knew that it was going to be a physical game coming in, and it has been that. You said it right, that it's a cold night. Bodies do interesting things. Muscles do interesting things when it's cold. So they're going to help get him off the field as he is very gingerly walking on that right leg. 1 receiver on either direction, as Cobb will give the handoff, and we have flags coming in everywhere as Hobbs will be taken down for no gain or maybe a loss of 1.
A little bit of yellow rain there. We saw flags coming from, it looked like, every single direction.
So we'll see what they're going to call here. It's probably in the neck of the woods of a hold, unfortunately. Oh, so I was wrong. Personal foul on both teams, so they offset. Here the fans don't really agree with that on the Hallsville side. So 1 on each team, so they offset. So after all that, it'll be 1st and 10 again.
Have to think that score has got to come here within the next I want to say it's got to be a minute or so if you want to get back in this one.
So Cobb will keep it himself as he takes a delayed quarterback keeper. He'll have short yardage. One of the Bobcats got waylaid there. Might have been right as the whistle was blowing.
Yeah, that was DJ Larkin there. That's the left tackle. Looked like he was laying a pancake block. Just happened to come a tad late.
So 2nd and 8 as they'll hand it up. Hobbs has it straight up the middle. He'll have short yardage. Again, he picks up. They don't give him a good spot, so they say he only picked up a couple.
And here's where I would put the ball in Tiger Cobb's hands again. You create a mismatch if you keep the ball in the quarterback's hands. You're taking away that matchup, and all of a sudden you're 11 on 11. When the quarterback decides to hand the ball off, you're 10 on 11 on offense. If you keep it in Cobb's hands, all of a sudden you've got even matchups all across the board.
42-22 the score in favor of Bowling Green. Clock under 7 to go here in regulation. Cobb will have 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. He's in shotgun. He'll fake it to Fowler. He'll keep it himself, trying to work that far side, still stretching it out. He's going to be short, but not by maybe a yard or 2.
And I think they go back to the well here. Have to think this is going to be in Tiger Cobb's hands, and it's going to be the left side, and they're going to run it directly behind Larkin, who just laid out that Bowling Green defender.
So we'll bring up a 4th down here. 4th and 2, clock under 6.5 to go. Again, 20-point lead. They'll load up, empty backfield, 3 on the far side, 2 here on the near side. With it is Cobb. He's going to squirt through, and he looks like from indications he will have the first down.
And I was wrong. They went to the right side of that offense. Maybe Coach Conyers thought they were getting a little too predictable there on 4th down, always going to the left. Loaded up the right side with a tight end and a wingback, and got the first down conversion.
They did try some misdirection there and load up the play, and it does result in a first down. Ball on the 27-yard line. Again, we've got to get a little urgency here for Hallsville as their season is every tick of the clock winding down. I think that was a busted play there as looking to pitch it off, but nobody in the vicinity was Cobb. But he ran the wrong route there.
Looks like Coach Conyers calling a timeout here. Just under 6 minutes remaining. Have to start conserving that clock.
That comes with 5:55 left to go here in the ball game. Again, it's a 42-22 score. Both these teams coming in the 1 and 2 seed, both of them undefeated. The winner moves on to 11-0 and moves on to the state championship. The state tournament towards that state championship, having been crowned the Class 2 District 6 champion here tonight. The loser starts thinking about turning gear in on Monday and starts looking at winter sports as the next happenings for the school.
We go back to star wide receiver A.J. Austin. Looks like he's talking with somebody on the medical staff. Doesn't look to be receiving any treatment, maybe just talking over sort of the injury that has occurred. Obviously, that arm is not in that Letterman's jacket. Has to make me think it's got to be something with the shoulder or with the collarbone.
Yeah, I think he's probably, haven't seen him turn around, but I think he does probably have that in a sling there. And that's an unfortunate break for the Indians. So it'll be a 2nd and 12 here as trip receivers near side, 1 far side. Cobb will keep it all the way. He's trying to get the corner, now cut it upfield. He's at the 20, 15. He's going to be upended at the 10. So he'll take it himself for 15 yards.
Yeah, and that's really, I feel like that's the first time in a long time that we've seen Cobb rip one off for that sort of game. All of last week against Centralia, you saw Cobb going for 15, 20 yards a pop. And tonight, the Bowling Green defense has limited that in a sense.
So it'll be 1st and goal at the 10. They'll send Stinson in motion to the far side. Cobb trying to work the far side, cut it up the middle. He's still on his feet. He's going to be down. Looks like a couple yards there, but it will bring up a 2nd and goal.
Got to get this one in the end zone soon. Just over 5 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter. Coach Conyers obviously would love a touchdown, but he probably wants it right now.
So we'll bring up a 2nd and goal ball at the 7-yard line. One back in the backfield as Cobb will be in shotgun. He'll give the handoff to Fowler, trying to work the far side, trying to cut back in. He'll be ushered out of bounds. Fowler unable to get that corner, but did pick up positive yards, though.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little something there for about a split second, and that Bowling Green defense just suffocated on that run.
So they say he picks up maybe a yard, yard and a half. It will be 3rd and goal from outside the 6. Cobb will be in shotgun again. He'll fake it to Fowler, take it up the middle, working on the far side. He'll stretch it out, and he's going to be in there for the touchdown. He gets a 6-yard touchdown run.
And put the ball in the hands of your playmakers, Coach Conyers does. And obviously good things happen when Tiger Cobb is running the ball into the end zone. Now you have to ask the question, is it too little, too late? The issue is it is still a 14-point ball game with a 2-point conversion pending. So I don't know. It's just, there's not been a lot of answers on defense. If they could get a stop, all of a sudden we've got ourselves a ball game.
Well, the defense will be called upon big time for sure. It's 42-28 in favor of Bowling Green. Stenson will be in motion to the far side, 3 receivers near side. Now they'll send another in motion as they'll fake it to Fowler. They do give it to him, and he's going to walk into the end zone untouched.
Love the play call there. That's that jet sweep, the little touch pass from Cobb. And it's a 12-point game. We've got ourselves a ball game here. If that Indians defense can come up with a big stop, all of a sudden we're talking at a 1-score game.
That was a 14-play, 65-yard drive that comes with 4:41 left here in the ball game. We're going to take a quick break and be back. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network. 30. Orschelin has it teed up. What do you think about an onside kick here?
I think it's coming.
So it's going to take a bounce, and nobody has it yet, and the Indians are going to recover it, possibly. They come up just short as Dalton had it, muffed it, got it back. It went off one of the up men, so just that close to getting the onside kick.
Yeah, I thought for a second there the Indians had jumped on it. Looks like Dalton was able to hop back on top of that football. The sure-handed quarterback coming up with a sure-handed play there on the onside attempt.
So now the defense is asked to do a big job here. They've got to get a stop or get the ball back. You know it's going to be on the ground, and it's going to be smash mouth football at the 44-yard line. Bobcats' own 44-yard line. Dalton will give it to the first man through. That's Bowen, and he's going to be wrapped up hogtied from behind. That is what they need to do. They've got to do that several more times.
Yeah, you've got to swarm to the ball here as we see DJ Larkin limping off the field. That's not a good sign. He's a major piece of that defensive line. Again, injuries, a tricky thing tonight, whether it's a cramp because of this cold or you're getting rolled up on and it stings just a little bit more. We've seen quite a few people hobbling off the field tonight.
Looks like he's bothered by, I can't tell, the leg or if it's that left hand, left arm. So 1 yard gain there. It's a 2nd and 9 ball just across the 45. Dalton will give it on the misdirection, and they're going to take a back fumble. Who comes up with it? Hallsville. No. I thought he was motioning, getting ready to motion for Hallsville, but he says wind the clock.
Another tough break there for the Indians. Twice the ball has been put on the ground here in the last about a minute of game time, and twice the quarterback Dalton has come up with it. Just a really tough break there for the Indians defense. Causing the ball to hit this grass and not having the results that they're looking for.
That was a busted play from the beginning as they tried to do a counter play, give it to the second guy through, but that defense was right there in their face to disrupt it and cause the fumble. Nearing 3 to go here in the ball game. As going with it up the middle is Bowen, and he's going to have close to the first down. We'll see where they mark him. Right now, the official on the far side is standing on the first down marker. They're probably going to have to measure.
Sure looks like a generous spot to me. But, again, a little difficult to see from up here. Initially looked like he was going to give him the first down, no problem. And now it looks like they're marking him short.
Yeah, he is short by what about? Well, it looked like it was short by maybe half a yard, but they are going to come out to measure it here. So we'll see where it's at. The official will put the spot, and he is going to have it by about half the distance of the football. I do agree. I think that was a very generous spot, but they do say new set of downs. This defense, that's been kind of the problem, is they do good, throw a loss on first down, throw a loss on second down, but then give up a big play on third down.
Yeah, it's been the story of the night. We think back to that 3rd and 16 that the Bobcats had earlier and converted on, obviously went on to score a touchdown. Just haven't been able to get that critical third down stop, have the Indians tonight.
Clock rolling, 2:40 left to go in the ball game. Again, 42 to 30 the score. It was a 20-point deficit at one point. Handed off quickly, swallowed up in the backfield. This defense again coming alive on the first down play.
Well, and Coach Conyers really has to start thinking about those timeouts now. Obviously, 2:20 left in this one. Still have to get the ball back twice. It's looking a little tough if you're an Indians fan right now.
March throws. Another thrown for loss. He's got at least 6. That could be number 7 or more. I don't keep the stats during the game, but he came into tonight's game with 6 on the season, so we know he's got at least 7. It'll bring up a 2nd and 12, clock under 2 to go. It's the only time Bowling Green does not work very fast as they're taking as much time off the clock as they can. Bowen has it. He's across the 40, still dragging. He's across the 35. He will have a new set of downs.
And that'll just about do it. Still 2 timeouts for the Indians, but a minute 45 and a fresh set of downs. Just haven't been able to stop anything on the ground tonight.
Clock stopped momentarily at a minute 45, but will start to roll in just a minute. Again, Bowling Green leading 42 to 30. They're looking for the upset here as they came in the number 2 seed. Hallsville, the number 1 seed.
Both teams obviously super talented, so.
Dalton will give it to Bowen. He's across the 30, still on his feet. He'll be taken down at the 25, near the 25.
Tough here, too, because you got 2 undefeated teams. One of them's obviously going to have to be a higher seed, but I've been really impressed with Bowling Green tonight, as I have been with Hallsville. You know, they've responded over and over to these punches. Just had a couple breaks that they didn't catch at certain points in these games. Austin going down surely doesn't help, but have to capitalize on some mistakes and shot themselves in the foot a little bit too much.
Under 50 seconds to go here in regulation. It does look like we have the upset in the works. It's handed off up the middle, short yardage, but most importantly, it runs the clock.
And now we got flags flying all over the field. Looks like a Bowling Green player is going to get called with a unsportsmanlike. His head coach is screaming at him right now. Just unnecessary at this point in the game.
Yeah, I think both teams are probably guilty. Obviously an emotional game because one of these 2 teams' season is going to come to an end tonight. Here in the throwdown at H-Town. So we'll get the official word here. As it was a short gain. It was going to bring up a 3rd and short. 3rd and about 3. Like I say, personal foul. Unnecessary or unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. Unsportsmanlike on the offense. So they offset. So a lot of pushing and shoving there that goes for naught.
Yeah, and to me that's clear frustration. I wholeheartedly understand the disappointment with your season coming to an end here in 22 seconds and counting. But, not a whole lot of reason for that.
Bowling Green does not have to snap the ball. There's about 1 second left, 1 second difference between the play clock and the game clock. There's 10 on the clock. We're down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's our ball game as Bowling Green comes in and upsets the number 1 seed here in the Class 2 District 6 Championship as they come in and pull off the upset as they will be crowned the 2021 Class 2 District 6 champion here in the state of Missouri. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll get in and have our post-game show as you're listening to exclusive coverage of Indians football here on the Show Me Sports Network.
You've been listening to Hallsville Indians football on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network. Exclusive play-by-play coverage of Hallsville Indians football has been brought to you by Avon with Michelle Cardi, Centurion Cares, Eddie Gaedel Society, Embrace the Curve, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Boosters, Kathy Rush Remax Realty, Last Sentinel Firearms, River Oak Christian Academy, Sawdust Studios, Law Offices of Russ Swanigan, Southwest Dental Care, and State Tech of Missouri. The biggest and absolute best coverage in mid-Missouri continues as you're just moments away from the exclusive post-game show. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Hallsville Indians football on the Indians Radio Network.
Hello, Blake Gazaway here with the Show Me Sports Network. I've had the opportunity to have some amazing calls, including overtime touchdowns, walk-off home runs, and buzzer-beating baskets. But I've answered another call. That's to serve my community as a volunteer firefighter. Stop and think what would happen if your home or property caught fire and no one was there to put it out. Every day, volunteer firefighters not only save lives and property, but also respond to other emergencies. Nearly 2/3 of our nation's fire departments are manned by volunteer firefighters. And because of this, we simply need more volunteers to step up and answer the call. Stop by or contact your local fire department and see how you can become a volunteer firefighter today. I answered the call to serve my community. Will you?
This is the Hallsville Indians postgame show on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network. Blake Gazaway and his crew will discuss their thoughts on tonight's game as well as look ahead to the next action for the Indians. Exclusive postgame coverage of Hallsville Indians football is brought to you by Avon with Michelle Cardi, Centurion Cares, Eddie Gaedel Society, Embrace the Curve, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Boosters, Kathy Rush Remax Realty, Last Sentinel Firearms, River Oak Christian Academy, Sawdust Studios, Law Offices of Russ Swanigan, Southwest Dental Care, and State Tech of Missouri. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Hallsville Indians football on the Indians Radio Network. Now, here's the voice of the Show Me Sports Network and the Hallsville Indians Radio Network, Blake Gazaway.
Well, it is a tough night and a tough way to have your season come to an end as Hallsville drops the Class 2 District 6 championship game here in Hallsville by a final of 42-30 to the Bowling Green Bobcats. Hallsville coming in with the 10-0 unblemished record, being the number 1 seed in districts for Bowling Green. They come in as the number 2 seed with also an unblemished record at 10-0. Don't like the final score outcome of the game, but this was a great game to watch, a great game to call. It was a little chilly, but can't have everything in life.
That's exactly right. Not the result we were wanting. And here's the thing. You see Tiger Cobb, stud quarterback, senior quarterback for this Indians roster, hanging his head on the field. Absolutely nothing to hang your head about. If you're the Hallsville Indians, if you're Tiger Cobb, this team went out and battled all season long, came up short tonight, but, obviously disappointing, but nothing to hang your head on after the season that you had.
Well, they knew coming in Bowling Green was going to be a tough team, and they showed exactly that they are a tough team, and I think I said it at some point during the broadcast that I think whoever wins tonight's game has a real good chance to possibly make a run for the Class 2 state championship at the Show Me Bowl that will happen here in several weeks. And I think that ended up being the case in that we knew it was a tough matchup, but Bowling Green, they came to win. They came to play. They had a good game plan from the opening kickoff. They were able to make the adjustments in the second half, but like you said, no reason to hang your hats if you're the Hallsville Indians, because they had a great season. They had a great time, I think, throughout the season. Just didn't get the end result they wanted, but we saw a lot of growth. We saw a lot of growth as a player, as young men, and nothing to take away but all the positives from the season.
Absolutely, and I think obviously Indians fans, Indians football players alike are going to be upset with the result of this one, but they left it all out on the field, and Bowling Green was the better team tonight. They showed up. They had a plan for limiting Tiger Cobb, limiting his ability, obviously in the running game and in the passing game. I think the wind did play a factor in this one. Obviously, losing A.J. Austin to an injury, shoulder, collarbone, whatever it might be, did not help the Indians by any means either.
Yeah, it didn't help out their cause at all. Both teams, we mentioned it throughout the game, both teams having some players that were roughed up. But that's just part of how the game goes and what happens. But they came out here, left it all on the field, nothing to be ashamed of. And, it's why you play all 4 quarters. But to tell you how we got to that final score, we'll go over your scoring and summary real quick. As Bowling Green got things started with a 41-yard touchdown run by Stark. 2-point conversion was good. There was a pass from Dalton to Gibson. There was a 6-play, 57-yard drive that made it 8-0 with 9:31 left in the first quarter. Bowling Green would score again on a 6-yard touchdown run, this one by Keel. The 2-point conversion was no good. There was a 3-play, 85-yard drive. That was with 5:26 left to go in the first quarter. That made it 14-0. Hallsville would score then on a 4-yard touchdown run by Hobbs. The 2-point conversion was good on a shovel pass to Stinson. That was an 8-play, 62-yard drive. That made it 14-8 with 1:25 left in the first quarter. That would hold true until the second quarter. Bowling Green would score on a 16-yard touchdown run by their starting quarterback in Dalton. The 2-point conversion on a pass from Dalton to Keel was good. That was a 3-play, 16-yard drive. That was with 11:54 left before halftime. That made it 22-8. Then Hallsville would score on a 2-yard touchdown pass from Cobb to Stinson. Again, a little shovel pass. The 2-point conversion was good on a run by Cobb. That was an 11-play, 65-yard drive with 7:22 left in the first half. That kept the lead 22-16. Then Bowling Green would score on a 2-yard touchdown run by Bowen. The 2-point conversion was no good. That was a 4-play, 16-yard drive with 19 seconds left before halftime. And that score did take us at 28-16. That took us to halftime. Then Bowling Green would come out in the second half. They would score first as they scored on a 12-yard touchdown run by Starks. The 2-point conversion on a pass from Dalton to Starks was good. That was a 6-play, 86-yard drive. That came with 4:51 left in the third quarter. That made it a 36-16 score. Then Hallsville would score on a 3-yard touchdown pass from Cobb to Stinson. The 2-point conversion was no good. That was a 9-play, 71-yard drive. That came with 1:31 left in the third quarter. That made it 36-22. Then we would go to the fourth quarter where Bowling Green would score on a 4-yard touchdown run by Bowen. The 2-point conversion was no good. That was a 10-play, 65-yard drive. That was with 9:05 left in the fourth quarter. That made it 42-22. And then Hallsville would score on a 6-yard touchdown run by Cobb. The 2-point conversion was good on that. It was a jet sweep to Fowler. That was a 14-play, 65-yard drive. That made it a 42-30 score, which would take us to the end of regulation with that same score. As we said, nothing to hang their hats about, but it is going to be disappointing. It's going to sting for a while, and it's going to hurt for a while as the Hallsville Indians come up short of their season to get the district championship and look towards a state championship.
Yeah, obvious disappointment like we had talked about. Saw Tiger Cobb head back into the locker room. Didn't have a lot of words to say. We got families here visiting on the field. Cobb was not in the visiting mood, and I can't say that I necessarily blame him. This is the end of his senior season. Obviously has been here for so long and has been such a good player that I'm sure this one, he feels that it's on him, and really it's not. The burden does not fall all on the quarterback.
Yeah, you win as a team, you lose as a team, and this is ever a case of that as they just come up short, but they had a great year nonetheless. As you said, lots of families and players down talking with families, and really would like to get head coach Justin Conyers up here. However, we want to let him have a chance to talk to his team and talk to the people that he needs to. And really, I'm just cold. It's been a cold, windy night. We've had snow flurries. We've had lots of wind. I've lost my voice. We've wore layer on layer, and I just want to get warm. At the end of the day, that's where I'm at right now.
I would have to agree with you. I made the critical halftime switch of the socks. I had 3 pairs of socks on in the first half, and I switched over to 2 pairs and some hand warmers that I threw down in my boots. So, yeah, chilly is one word I would say that I am currently.
But like we said, hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast tonight and the one last week, as we've had a lot of fun bringing you the games the last week and this week. However, just didn't quite fall tonight like we would have scripted it up. But most importantly, we have some big plans that we would like to cover Hallsville Indian athletics on more of a regular base and possibly pick up more seasons and more games. That's what our end result is. So hopefully you've enjoyed our broadcast tonight and last week as well. Again, you can always find us on Facebook. Just search for the Show Me Sports Network. You can find us there, and we always like to know where you're listening from, that hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast this evening. And, like our page, share it with those that you can. And we always like to see those messages, and hopefully that you're saying you enjoyed the broadcast tonight wherever you're at listening to it. And that also helps us, too, to be able to say, here's why we need to cover more games, because there's definitely an interest to listen to those. So any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I think I'm all good.
Well, like we said, we want to go get warm, and it's been a pleasure bringing you the broadcast tonight for Patterson Fallis. I'm Blake Gazaway, as we've enjoyed giving you coverage the last couple of football games for Hallsville here on the Show Me Sports Network until we talk to you, as basketball season will just be right around the corner. We're going to be bringing you some Stevens Stars games for basketball as well as area high school games. So until we talk to you at our next broadcast, which will be a few weeks from now. Well, actually, I should take that back. Next Saturday on the 20th will be our first Stevens Stars broadcast, so you can tune into that, as it'll be still a few weeks away before we get into high school basketball area coverage. But until we talk to you, so long, and have a great evening.
You've been listening to the best game coverage in mid-Missouri on the exclusive home for Hallsville Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network, and the Indians Radio Network. Blake Gazaway and the broadcast crew are the guys that know your Indians the best. Exclusive coverage of Hallsville Indians football has been brought to you by Avon with Michelle Cardi, Centurion Cares, Eddie Gaedel Society, Embrace the Curve, Hahn Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Boosters, Kathy Rush Remax Realty, Last Sentinel Firearms, River Oak Christian Academy.
Serving fans throughout the Midwest and even more around the world, this is the Show Me Sports Network. The preceding was an exclusive broadcast property presentation of the Show Me Sports Network and was a high-fidelity all-digital broadcast. This broadcast is copyright by the Show Me Sports Network for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast without the Show Me Sports Network's written consent is prohibited.